Is this on? Hey, good morning. Hey, it's Doc's chat party for April 11th, 2020. And most of you know the virus is going around. We're all shut in. We're all doing what we can to just keep ourselves occupied. So, hey, welcome if you're watching. And hopefully, we'll have some guests to join us later. And it's an awful nice day outside. It's sunny and very nice out, except the temperature is a little colder than I'd like it to be, like 45 degrees. Phew. Oh, well. We'll see if anyone's out there and would like to join in. I'll kind of create the link, get that ready foist in case anyone likes to join. Well, I have 3 watchers. We've got a little bit of an audience going on. We'll see. It's Paul having his breakfast. Would you like to join with your Cheerios there? Show us what you're having. Wouldn't mind some bacon and eggs. That'd be good. It's either that or oatmeal, malto meal, or we could talk breakfast cereal. The worst one out there that I know is Weetabix. That's the worst cereal in the world. And I know a lot of you like Cap'n Crunch, but me, no thank you. It's a bowl full of trouble for me. So hey, Paul, what's happening in your part of the world? There's not much going on here. It's Easter weekend, and it's like, so we're not having a family dinner this year. Social distancing, like 30 miles. Hot cross bun, ooh, with peanut butter or jelly or something. Yeah, it's pretty quiet everywhere. When I look out the window here, I see a lot of nothing, like nobody. it's like cataclysm or something. It's very weird. Wow, to see hardly anybody out or hardly any traffic. What a weird world this is. Maybe they're all gone to the grocery store to get a head start on things. Who knows? Whew. That's if they even let you in. They have been letting you stand outside lined up 6 feet apart just to get in and buy a few things. Some stores won't let you in at all. I tried to get in a home hardware store a couple days ago, and sorry, no one allowed in the store. Well, I just turned on my heel and left. What am I going to do? So there's a lot of changes out there. Like they don't take cash, have your credit card ready, drive-throughs, pick up at the curb, all that kind of stuff. It's a waste of time at Home Depot. How so? Did you even get into the store? Or was a case of you got into the store and there was none of what you wanted, empty shelves? But yeah, I went to the local home hardware because I wanted some garbage bags and some didn't get in lineups. Yeah, that's the other thing. You just pull up and you see the lineup to get in, and you just say, "Oh, never mind." Yeah, what did I wanted? Garbage bags and upholstery cleaner. Yeah. Hello, Mason. Yeah, I know it's a Sunday it's a Saturday edition. Well, I just thought I'd be different. There wasn't much anything else going on YouTube for this time of day, and I thought, well, some people may have an actual Easter. Who knows? So I thought, well, let's try a different time frame this week. So, see how it goes. And as you can see, it's very quiet here too. Maybe everybody's still in bed. I don't know. almost 11:30. I did watch a little bit of a what I don't know what you call these things, streamcast or whatever of some people from uh, California doing a thing about Disney parks, but it was kind of boring after 8 minutes. I thought, nah, let's see if I'll do my own. See if we can get a little bit of a thing going here on a Saturday morning because there's no cartoons. What else is there on? Animal shows. Not the same. Not the same. That's why you got to buy all your old cartoons on DVD. 8:22. Ooh. When it was 8:22 here, I was just getting up. But of course, Paul, I guess you're just getting up too, right? But there's not a whole lot to do. Like oh, my hair is a mess. Jeez. I'm so due for a barber. Oh, we're all gonna look like hippies at the end of this thing. Jeez, like if nobody can get their hair cut, and I'm already due, what am I gonna look like at the end of a couple months or so by June or July if it lasts this long? Oh well. Geez, I felt that one. Yes, we're all gonna look like ZZ Top, unfortunately. In Canada they still say ZZ Top. I've never heard anybody say ZZ Top. I guess it just never took. Well, hello, Record Crate. All is well. It's very quiet. It's a Saturday morning. Are you at the store, Adam, checking in? It's more quiet than I thought it might be. And maybe people are just getting up. Maybe they'll be along after breakfast. I say ZZ Top to annoy people. I annoy people by just saying Z. Like when somebody wants me to spell something with Z in it, I do say Z. And I don't put the U in favor or flavor either. That is Record Crate at Raleigh. Ah, good. So if anybody wants to join in the fun here, there goes. We'll see if we can get some wonderful guests to join me on this wonderful thing. No, it's not really a Windsor thing. I see OUR a lot. And personally, I don't care for it. It's just me. So I spell all my words without the U and I say Z. I grew up on Z. I grew up on feet and inches and pounds and ounces. Too old to change. Call me crazy. Call me strange. Ah, well. So, well, I have an audience of 9. Hopefully, if you don't want to join, you can at least type. Let me know you're there. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, FitToBe TieDyed. How are you, sir? You're looking kind of shaggy yourself.
I'm just out of bed. How do you like my hair?
I think it needs a little work.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Is that what you look like in the morning?
Usually not this good.
Wow. It really gets to be a oh, Paul's got bed hair. Yeah, I guess. Ugh. You didn't think you'd be broadcasting to the world, did you, Paul?
I hadn't planned on it. No.
No, so they're like,
We did
hello.
our church service this way yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we'll do it. Well, we use Zoom, but we're going to do it again tomorrow as well. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, there's going to be some church services here. They're going to be either streaming or broadcast on television, but with no audience or anything. So you can.
I got everybody using Zoom now, so
Yeah.
should have bought shares in it. Never thought.
Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah. Gorgeous day here, though. Really nice.
Nice here, but it's cold. It's like 45 degrees. It's not going to get
really?
warm. No.
Oh no, it's not bad here at all. We're at let's see here. Check my phone. Everything I need to know is on my phone. It's 8 degrees C here. So what is that?
I don't know.
Anyway, it'll warm up because the sun is out. It's really nice.
Oh, it looks great outside here, but
yeah.
by the temperature, we're like, nah. It's
anyway.
We got to stay inside anyway. But geez, nobody else is outside either.
Well, I just hang around the yard, but that's about it.
They were saying this morning, like, don't hire anyone to do your yard work for you. That's an inessential thing, because they don't want people to like say, can I use your bathroom or something like that. So they're saying, like, don't hire any outside contractors for your yard. Do it yourself. Get some exercise.
We ran into our real estate agent, the woman we use whenever we move, which isn't that much, but we kind of maintain a connection with her. Apparently, real estate's taking a real hit right now because people don't want strangers in their house.
Oh, that's the other thing, yeah.
So,
if we're all potential carriers, even though we don't know it,
yeah,
you don't know what you're letting in.
Well, that's the thing, and it's like your house, right? So you're kind of inviting disaster if you. But anyway, we're not selling, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, it's such a weird world now. That just to get groceries, you got to line up outside the grocery store.
Well, you were around back then, but I was out the other day. We went and did takeout at our favorite pub. They're doing takeout during this thing, so we got burger and beer and
for takeout.
Yeah.
A beer for takeout.
Yeah, no, it's a pub, so we could do beer as well. So
cool.
As long as you're picking it up yourself, right? So it kind of reminded me of the '60s because there wasn't nobody there weren't any crowds. It was quiet, and it just kind of it was a bit of a flashback because it felt a little nostalgic. It was quite interesting. But anyway, it was it just kind of you get these little things that remind you a little bit of what's going on. Otherwise you just kind of take it for granted. But yeah. Very different.
So some places won't even let you inside. They
comments on my hair.
We're all gonna look like this eventually.
Morning hair. What can I say?
Yeah, I know, but how the heck do we get our hair cut anymore?
Well, I had an appointment on Tuesday, and so I phoned her up and I said, "Well, I assume you're not doing it, but I don't want you sitting there waiting for me, getting mad at me." She said, "No." I said, "Well, by the time I get back here, I'm going to look like the guys from ZZ Top." So, like the beard will go just, poof.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You are going to turn it to ZZ Top. Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Well, fortunately, this kind of stuff, like I can do this at home. But
I used to, but I don't have a clipper or a shaver or anything. So, anyway.
Yeah, maybe things will be back to normal by next year.
Well, hopefully before then.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice. They were saying on the television, 14 days, 14 days. Well, nah. But yesterday I was reading up on past pandemics, and they went on for like a couple of years at a time.
They can.
So if this is only like, we're only what, barely 3 months into this. Well, it's maybe a month and a half. But no, the summer is shot, at least.
Yeah, I don't know. We're waiting to see because we got a place we go to and we put a down payment on it. I don't know what's going to happen. That's in July, so we're going to wait, see what happens. We might have to cancel that out.
I don't know if it's as restrictive in Canada or the provinces, whichever, but in Michigan, say if you have a summer house or cottage or something like that, they're saying like, nope, don't go, stay home, don't even go to the cottage, nope.
Well, see, I don't know why that would matter because you're going to be in your car and then you go to your cottage, right? So,
well, they're having the idea that you're going to stop along the way, you're going to stop and get gas, spread it, stop and get snacks or eat, spread it, like say, just stay. So that's what the Michigan governor was saying. Well, I guess people would like to do something on Easter weekend. Hey, let's go to the cottage.
They must have a lot of people in Michigan that have cottages.
Don's asking if I'm a fan of Rush. I'm thinking he's talking the band Rush. Yes, I love Rush. Rush is good. Good Rush. Yeah, see, the Spanish flu was around for just under 3 years. Some like the Black Death and whatever plagues, and I was reading about that yesterday. It just wasn't for a year. It lasted a while. So this is could be our new normal for quite a bit.
Well, I think a lot depends on how long it takes them to come out with a vaccine, right?
Oh, that too.
Because that'll change everything if they develop that, but that's not going to be quick.
What is synth rush? Synthetic rush? Not sure what that is.
Like a cover band.
Don't know about that. What was I going to say there? Oh, they were saying that since this is sort of like flu-ish based, this disease here, it could just like be in a cycle. So it's like when we have our flu season, by the time summer comes around, it's pretty much over. So they're kind of thinking, well, could this happen with COVID-19? That once the summer comes and the heat comes on, maybe this virus doesn't like the heat as much.
Well, apparently it doesn't like heat and humidity, apparently. But then they're saying it could come back in the fall. So, I don't know.
We're all guessing.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. Yeah, everybody's telling you something different. So
after all, 14 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. 13 months maybe.
Well, yeah, I know. I was complaining the other day because gas is so cheap out here right now.
You can't go anywhere.
Well, that's it. Like I can now afford to put gas in my Corvette, but I can't afford to. I'm afraid to go anywhere.
and they don't want you to either.
Yeah, so that's kind of defeats the purpose. But anyway,
even Chatham up the road here.
Yeah, Chatham
got their first casino a few months back.
Oh, did they?
Yes. Can't go see. Well, it's closed now anyway, I'm sure. But like I would have liked to gone to see what was going on. Plus, I had thought, well, maybe I could mix that in with a trip up to London, or maybe go to a record store and do a little blog and stuff. And well, that's an idea that gone by the wayside.
I got a brother who lived in Chatham at one point. He worked for the Royal Bank, so they kept moving him around, and he was in Chatham for a while. Ended up in Sarnia for a while, and he did the whole area. I think he was in Windsor at one point as well. But yeah.
Well, I bank at the Royal, and my personal branch, or whatever you want to call it, is closed.
Yeah.
And they've kind of consolidated at one central location. So if you want to do your banking in person, you have to say, well, off to Dougal Avenue.
Well, that makes sense, I guess. You know, kind of localize it all, contain it. But I do everything online. I've got really no reason to go to the bank unless I need cash, and then I'll just go to a money machine somewhere.
Bring disinfectant wipes, wipe down the ATM.
Yeah, I just put the old rubber gloves on or something.
Don't leave them in the parking lot, people.
Oh, are they doing that? Leaving their clothes in the parking lot?
It's true. I've seen it.
What a bunch of slobs.
Well, I don't know what they're thinking. You know, like, oh, I'm going to save myself, put on rubber gloves. They go in the store, they pick out their stuff, they come out and put their stuff in the car or whatever, peel off the gloves, whack. And it looks like the parking lot with the gloves. Weird.
It's just laziness, you know. It's just they don't. I don't know. I couldn't do that. I don't get people that can do that.
Yeah, well, that's, I don't know, ridiculous thinking or no thinking at all. Like somebody's got to pick those up, or they're going to blow around and who knows what.
Yeah.
But it's true that they showed it on the news here that, you know, like just walking with the camera and look at the gloves in the parking lot. And I'm going like, what? And yes, I've seen it here.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet, but no. Now I'll be watching for it now.
And signs of spring, you know.
I'm gonna be the glove police. I'm gonna walk around, pick those gloves up.
Somebody ought to. Well, I did see one girl from the Canadian Tire out in the parking lot with a spray bottle, but she was wiping down the carts. She wasn't bringing them in; she was wiping them down.
Well, there's a handicapped guy at our grocery store. He's worked there for years, and that's what he's been doing. They've had him collecting the carts and wiping them down, and you know, which is good. You know, it's good for them to do that. But anyway, try to avoid it all.
This is an interesting point. You know, like how much toilet paper will we all have by the end of this thing?
Hey, you know, I figured out the toilet paper thing. Okay, so without hockey, we had nothing to obsess on. So for some reason, we decided we replace hockey with toilet paper. So that's become our new national obsession, is toilet paper.
Well, it is trickling back. Like if I go to a store and just for fun, just peek around the corner in the toilet paper aisle, and oh yeah, there's a little bit. It's not stocked.
There's a Scott towel that just, you know, not too far from where we live over in New Westminster. Scott Towel, they've been there for years. They make paper products and they make toilet paper and all that stuff. And people are hoarding. It's like, you know, the factory is right there. Why are you doing this? It's just crazy. Anyway.
And you know, there's the hand sanitizer thing, and you know, now we get breweries making hand sanitizer, but they're more or less they're sort of giving it away, but you got to make a donation to a charity of sorts.
Well, that's
and lining up for that even.
Yeah, that's all right. That's good. That's a good plan. But, oh well.
So much for Canadian Club whiskey.
So what do you got? You got any new music?
Well, I don't know if you remember Steve Schnee.
Yeah.
But
no, I know of him, but yeah.
Yeah, I was watching a couple of his videos, and
yeah, Matt Street talks about him a lot.
And he was showing some of his favorite bands and all that. And one that kind of caught my eye and ear, I guess, was The Beat.
Yeah.
You ever heard of The Beat? Hang on.
No, I've heard a beat, but not the beat.
Okay, gotta reach over to here. All right, hey. Does that work out? Okay. The Beat.
Oh,
there they are. Okay.
Can't beat that, eh?
All right. So anyway, I was checking them out on YouTube. You know, it's on a playlist, so I let it go. And the first song that came on reminded me of Between like the Vapors and the Knack.
Oh yeah.
And I went, okay, that's all right. And then as each song progressed, I'm going like, okay, it's in that same vein, but it's short songs played fast.
Oh,
Okay, so there's no real, well, a nice little ballad or anything. It's like bang, bang, bang every song.
just rock and roll stuff.
Yeah, 3 minutes or less. Boom, 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 boom. 13 songs. I'm going like, I can handle that. Yes. So
Good for people with a short attention span.
very, very much so. But that's okay. So I don't know if that comes over or not. Hey.
Okay.
Okay, better not show that for too long. People get ideas.
Yeah, that's not an official release, is it?
Well, you can't go to a record store anymore right now, anyhow. So. And yes, no, not the English beat. It's the beat, and yes, it is kind of new wavy, but and it is power pop, as Steve Schnee would say.
One guy, yeah, if you haven't gotten into him, you should. Is Donnie Iris.
Oh yes,
He's amazing.
It's out in the car.
Yeah.
I have the 20th century millennium.
Yeah, the greatest hits package. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a whole bunch of albums. He did one album it was in the '90s called Pole Town, and it's about, he's Polish, you know. So it's about Polish immigration in the States and how they got abused and all that. It's a really amazing album. You should. I don't know if you'd find it on Spotify or not, but Pole Town, just incredible stuff. The guy, like, I'm amazed at his voice. He's still got his voice. It's amazing.
Yeah. Love is like a rock.
Love is like a rock. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff. Like, the only song people know is Aaliyah, but I mean, the guy, he's done albums all through the '80s, and even into the '90s. He's done a couple in the 2000s. It's just, he's really good music. So
he was so prolific. I just thought he was a two-hit wonder.
No, he's not. He must have, well, I'm going to say 10 or 12 albums.
Mm-hmm.
Really good stuff. Really good stuff.
So I did a little research and I found all these albums and going like, ooh, there's more to Donnie Iris than I ever thought there was.
Yeah,
so,
go to Discogs. You'll find them all listed on Discogs, and yeah, that it's worth checking them out. Really, like the greatest hits is okay, but some of the better tracks, of course, aren't on that. You know, like they're not greatest hits tracks, but yeah, really good stuff. If you're into that power pop stuff, that's really great stuff.
Yeah, but other than those two songs, I had never heard any. He never got any airplay. So
no, well, you see, that's the other thing about, we don't get it in Canada, right? Or I should say, we don't get it in Canada. We don't get the airplay in Canada unless it's, you know, programmed or it's, you know, approved by an accountant. We don't hear it. You know, that's kind of frustrating too. There's a lot of great bands that we never heard in Canada, which kind of depresses me, but oh well. We have the interweb now, so we can find things.
But yeah, I got the Donnie Iris just before all this happened. Like, I have one DVD of old cartoons stuck in Detroit that I can't get a hold of because I haven't been over to get the American mail for 2.5 weeks now, almost 3 weeks.
Oh, you get your stuff shipped there, do you?
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, it's like 10 minutes away.
No, not even that. I pick up the company mail at the Renaissance Center.
Oh, okay.
So just cross the border and just 2 minutes out, whatever. But
you row your boat over there or something.
They're not allowing boats anymore.
Get canoe or something, you know, an inflatable kayak.
They're figuring you can't do any boating because you'd have to stop for gasoline.
Oh, not if you get a kayak.
Kayaks are good, but I'm sure the Coast Guard will stop you halfway across the river going.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of they don't have much of a sense of humor, those guys.
They have.
Did I tell you the time I went to Teachers College in Windsor, right? So I went over to Detroit one day. I did the tunnel, and I get to the other side. And, you know, they quiz you and they're doing all this stuff. I was amazed at what they knew about me. Oh, it was pretty scary. The guy, like, he looks up my stuff. He asked me if I still play saxophone.
Wow. How would he know
And I'm
that?
thinking, well, that's my question. I thought, how the hell? Because I played saxophone in high school. It's the only time I played saxophone. And he was asking me this, and it's like, how and why would you know this? You know, like, but he just, I don't know why he even asked the question, to be honest. He's just trying to figure out, you know, if I am who I'm saying, you know, but.
Mind games. They like
Well, yes, yeah. Yeah, but it's like, and this was the American side, right? Like I could see how maybe a Canadian could, you know, access your school records or whatever. But this was on the American side. And I thought, how do you know this? I didn't say anything to him, of course. You're not going to argue with those guys. But I just thought, how do you know this and why would you know this?
Well, I do think they sit in a boardroom and think of questions they can ask the regular public. So when you pull up and say, I'm going to the Detroit Tigers game, and then they go, why?
Well, why not?
I know, but they.
I know why.
But you know, like you were saying about the saxophone thing. One time I went over to Detroit to do some shopping, but I thought, well, I'll just give them a fake reason why I'm going. And I was dressed kind of well at the time. And I said, I'm going over for a funeral. So I go over, and when I'm coming back, and on the Windsor side, they say, so how was the funeral?
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, they'd record it right there. If that's what you said you were doing, that they'd be, you know.
Funeral was a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I had a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
What a question to ask somebody. How was the funeral?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it certainly took me by surprise. Like, how did you know I said that? You know?
No kidding.
Ah, crazy. So nobody's crossing right now unless you're essential. So.
Well, I thought record stores were essential. So how come they're closed down?
The only essential ones are the online ones. But I guess I've lost my my mailbox, as it were. So I'm not ordering anything right now. It's easier to make your own. So I cheated. I'm sorry.
So I was trying to get FLAC files because they're compressionless, right? I try to stay away from MP3s.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I've seen FLACs, but I didn't really know what they were, so I just went with what I knew. You know.
Yeah, well, the FLACs are like a wave, like they're compressionless. Wave are good too. Like, you don't lose any of the. There's Brady. You don't lose any of the music on that.
You're somebody who knows about Windsor.
Yeah.
Thing. Well, not as many as we had. Like back in the early 80s, I guess. There was one on every corner. They were like Tim Hortons.
And they were full of Americans.
Well, gosh, how many do we have now? 4? When once upon a time we probably had like 20. We still have them, but they just aren't as prolific as they were.
Yeah, that's Brady barking.
Yeah. And boy, does it sound weird over that phone.
I just got a little mic here.
Ah. No, you sound okay, but Brady sounded like what?
Well, he's downstairs. It's kind of reverberating through the house.
Oh, it's the echo effect, maybe.
Yeah.
Right, she's got a question for you.
Am I in Vancouver? Not really.
Not really? It's close enough.
I sometimes work in Vancouver, but I don't live there.
Yo, Rachel, how do? Nice to see you. Oh, got 18 watching now. Oh, cool. Started out pretty slow here. But still not many new joiners, though. That's the thing. Unless Rachel wants to come on.
Yeah, get her on. I'm gonna take off. I want to get cleaned up, comb my hair, have my coffee. I might be back if you're still on.
Okay. I don't know how long this is gonna last. Well, it's kind of slow. How long have I been on? Oh, just over a half hour.
Yeah.
She's
Anyway, I'll check if you're still on when I get back.
okay. Thanks.
Alrighty.
Okay, have a good one.
Yeah, take care, Dot. See you again.
Bye. So hey, Rachel, do you want to take Paul's place on the corner here? I got an opening. Otherwise, yeah, it's very quiet here today. I don't know whether people were getting ready for Easter or just sleeping in. It's almost noon here where I'm at. So maybe it's lunchtime. Oh, your screen's got no camera. That would that kind of hinders it a bit. Yeah, yeah. I got 5 openings and nobody. Guess they're a little hard to come by. Paul is in BC. And Windsor, Ontario. You could think of me as Detroit if you want. It's close enough, because a lot of people used to ask me, so where is Windsor? Is that near Toronto? No. I'm entertaining? Well, thank you. I try to be, even though I look at the replays and I'm going like, oh, gee, gosh. I'm a mess. But here I am doing like a little bit of a talk show. So, yeah, when Windsor's kind of like one of those cities that people kind of heard of it, sort of, and they think, oh, it's near Toronto, like everything's near Toronto. And I go, no, think Detroit. And that's more or less where I'm at. I can look out my front window and see Detroit, literally. True. I could walk to Detroit, but there's a river in the way. So I don't mind being labeled as Detroitish. So Rachel, no, I did not see that farewell. Check it out later. No, Medicine Hat is nowhere near Toronto, and neither is my favorite Canadian city of all time, Tuktoyaktuk. I love saying that. You know, like if ever I had a chance to say, where am I from? Tuktoyaktuk. So they're still below freezing at the moment. Ugh. Yes, Alberta is kind of, well, at least 2 or 3 away. Spasm? No. How do you spell Tuktoyaktuk? It's tough. It's an Inuit word for something or other, but it's just fun to say. That's all. I do have it on my cell phone for, like you look up the weather where you are, and then in other places, and yeah, what's it doing in Chicago, and what's it doing in Anaheim and Orlando and Tuktoyaktuk. Oh wow, glad I'm not there. Spasm, BC. I don't think I'd ever book a trip to there, or Walla Walla, Washington. We'll skip it. Another time. We can't go anywhere anyway. We're trapped in our houses, until this thing ever stops. Gosh. We're trapped. You can't do nothing. You got to line up to get in the grocery store. They won't accept cash. I got a little thing of change that's just burgeoning to be used. Ooh. So, oh well. It's easy to pay the bills because everything's on the Visa. Just go through the Burger King and tap and get your Whopper that way. Oh, we've already had our 70-day here. Back on Tuesday, I think it was very nice here. Wow. Sunny and 70. And then it went back down to 40 I think it's 47 out there. Blah. Beautiful day though, nice and sunny and everything out. And then once you step out and go, not quite. So hey, I'm looking for more guests. Looking for guests. Guests are hard to come by today. Not sure where everybody are. Maybe this was a bad choice for trying a earlier chat party. But I was thinking if I tried it on the Sunday, I thought, well, maybe the Easter holiday might throw a wrench in plans. But oh, good heavens, tornadoes! Oh, good heavens! Geez. It's supposed to be very windy here on Monday, but temperature is supposed to be like 48. Or not exactly a good day for kite flying. No. So, hey, people over there, yeah, that way. What are you going to do for Easter, if anything? Andy M. It's a twister. It's a twister. Uncle Henry. Ah. Good morning, Joe. How do? If Joe would like to come on, I'll throw the link in. Let's see. Bang. There we are. Oh, geez. My back is starting to hurt. Ow. I don't observe Easter. Well, I don't know if they have an Easter equivalent to Festivus. You start one, especially now. These days, who knows what people are going to do. Like, I know our Easter dinner has been canceled. So, can't have people 10 deep at a dining room table if one of us has a virus and pass it on like dominoes. Brr. They don't want us to do that. No. Stay away 6 feet. More if you can. There, hey. Hello, Joe. How you doing? Can you hear me? No. Joe's got a little trouble there. Testing. Oh, starting to hear something. You're on, Joe. Go.
Oh,
hello. There we go. That works.
Just stopping by, say hey.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
Oh, same old. Nothing special.
Yeah, just staying inside, keeping away from the virus and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, though we did go out shopping and we wore our gloves and our mask and all that kind of thing. We had to do that. Well, feel safer that way for what good it does.
Yeah.
It's a little extra.
And if you go out in the parking lots, it's breaking out into rubber gloves.
Yeah, I haven't seen many gloves on the ground anymore. At first, there were a lot of gloves just thrown on the ground of the parking lot, but that seems to have stopped unless they're cleaning them up better.
Well, it's either that or people got the idea like, boy, this is a dumb thing to do, But yeah, a couple of weeks ago, the parking lots were just littered with rubber gloves. It's so stupid,
Right.
Well, especially when there's garbage containers usually right outside a store anyhow.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, I know. That's people for you. Oh, I see what Rachel says. Finally bought Help on Blu-ray. Yeah, that looks really, really great. Yeah, the box that I got is not the Blu-ray though. That's an old DVD. So I really bought it for the extras because I don't need the movie on DVD because I have the Blu-ray. But that's an old box that has the DVD, standard DVD.
Oh, so it's kind of like a different release that had extras that you didn't have to begin with. So got to have the extras, right?
Yeah, well, the extras are what I wanted for. Like actually, I have the movie already, but
You can't have too many copies, right?
yeah, well, you can, I guess. Well, you should know about Egypt Station. You should know about that. Oh, so
Hang on a second.
sure. I'm here by myself. Well, I don't mind entertaining on my own chat, but I wouldn't on somebody else's.
Oh, well, it was easier
There it is.
to go where I grab it.
Oh yeah.
This is the 2-disc DVD version. I don't think the Blu-ray existed at this point.
Yeah, I had the DVD for the longest time. I just traded it off or sold it off when I got the box.
Yeah. So it's got all these special features there. Oh, there's a wealth of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, yeah, gotta have that.
Mm-hmm.
So Rachel says, oh, she's got 2 copies. And I guess the Blu-ray, and it's spectacular, but I guess the Blu-ray doesn't necessarily have the second disc. Is that what the thing is?
That's a good question. Does it have the second disc? I don't know if it's all on the first, if it's all on one disc or not. Maybe it all fits it on one. I don't know.
That could be. It's not exactly a 3-hour movie. There's room.
Well, I would definitely think that it has everything, but I don't really recall. I just got the Blu-ray not too long ago.
I don't know. Maybe Rachel can fill us in.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm reading like the comments at the same time.
What was it? Oh, it has the Magical Mystery Tour included? Really? Whoa, bonus. Wow.
Yeah, single disc with the extras. Yes, right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but it probably costs twice as much. But no, I got this. Oh gosh, when was this released? I got glasses, but I can't read. Okay, never mind.
That's all right.
But one thing I wanted to say to you, Joe, is you know how much stooge a file I am.
Yeah.
And the last time I kind of said, hey, did you ever catch Curly's grandson?
Right, I've been seeing some of those, yeah.
I think they're quite good. I like them. And I binged on them a couple weekends ago. But did you know that Emil Sitka was so low in cash, I guess in the 70s, he went on Let's Make a Deal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's on YouTube. I found it.
Really?
Yes, it's on YouTube. Monty Hall's going like, who should I pick? Who should I pick? You, sir, come on over here. So your name is Emil. And of course it's Emil Sitka. And it's like, what the heck is he doing here? But I guess I shouldn't spoil it any more than that. But it was kind of a surprise that, are you that down on your luck you have to go on Let's Make a Deal?
Right. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out. Is it easy to find? Are you going to put it on your channel or what?
No, somebody else had posted it. I imagine if you put in something like Let's Make a Deal, Emil Sitka, you might find it. Because it had a pretty easy title to it.
Well, he almost made it as one of the Stooges at the end.
I'm glad he did not.
Yeah. Wasn't he too tall also? He's too tall, I think.
Well, I'm sure you must have seen the what do they call those the publicity photos,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So like Curly Joe Mo and Emil.
Yeah.
And he had his hair like that, and they were gonna
the Larry role, right? The kind of more or less Larry role.
Yes, well they were gonna explain it as, oh, it's Larry's brother. Well,
is that what they were gonna
yeah. But anytime they had changed the Stooges, they never had to explain. They just went with it. You know, like why would you have to say, "Oh well, it's Larry's brother"? But
And he had the hair, if I remember, was kind of sticking out a little
it
in
was.
the picture, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's in one of my books down there. It'll take too long to dig it out. But if you're familiar with the picture, good enough.
Mhm.
But yeah, emo sticker on Let's Make a Deal. It's just kind of what? So yeah, if you got a couple minutes, check it out.
I'm still trying to figure how this works because it's on my laptop here down below on my desk. I see Rachel, the question about her telling she bought the Help Blu-ray, and you know that's from before, so I'm behind on the laptop. So I always wonder how that happens. You know, like the laptop is like 5 minutes behind what we're doing here.
Weren't you watching like your phone for the comments or something?
Well, I'm all mixed up. The comments are only down here on the laptop. The phone up here is where I'm talking to you on the phone here. Down here, where I look down here, are the comments from everybody on the side. I can see.
No, see, that's really techie because I do have a webcam sitting on top of my monitor, but I don't usually use that for making videos or anything. So,
that's so sweet of Dead Wax to give me the refresh. No, thank you, Dead Wax.
Refresh?
You know, that's nice of you. I knew that. I know the refresh.
Ooh.
Refresh.
Wow, I didn't know that they had figured out that Ted Healy had actually was killed by Wallace Beery. What? That.
I don't know for sure about that. Is that proven?
I don't know. That's the first time I've seen that. You know, like sort of he. You know, like they suspected he was murdered, but by Wallace Beery.
He was always drunk, though.
Yeah, well, that's why the Stooges kind of like, we can't stand being around Healy anymore.
Yeah, we can't have a drunk man in our Stooges.
So, anyhow, did you ever get to watch any of those Stooges?
I knew you were going to ask the Shemp things and everything else. I was looking at the shows right there, and I found, oh, here it is. I haven't watched it yet.
Wow.
Along with a million things that I haven't watched, but gonna have to do it and maybe make a video about what I think of it. I think I'm gonna do that.
You're such a big Shemp fan. That would be like tailor-made.
Yeah.
And it is interesting to watch Shemp alone doing him being the Mo or the Ted Healy with another set of guys. So
yeah,
it's kind of like, this is interesting.
Yeah, well, even in some of like the Abbott and Costello things that he was in, sometimes he's a little more. I think. Well, isn't there one? Was it the Navy one? In the Navy with Abbott and Costello, where Shemp is in there, and he's a little bit more aggressive, kind of. I think I seem to remember that.
But
I don't know if it's true or not, but Mo claimed that Lou Costello tried to get all the Shemp stuff cut out, a lot of the Shemp stuff cut out of the Abbott and Costello films. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what Mo claimed in his book.
Never heard that, but Mo certainly says that Costello based himself off Curly.
Yeah. A lot of people think that.
Oh, the Wallace Beery story is one of those great Hollywood Babylon tales.
The Hollywood Babylon stories.
I don't know. I'd never heard of it until now. So, interesting. Maybe they should make a movie about it. You know, I always thought that album right in the corner. I think the door is there. The blue one to the far left of you on the top is the Eagles' greatest hits.
The album up there.
Yeah, that one.
This year. Yeah. There's a live piece in Toronto.
Okay.
It's signed by Klaus Vorman and also Alan White.
Ooh. Yep.
But I had gotten the Alan White signature. I bought it with the Alan White signature on it already. Little did I know he was going to be at a Beatle Fest. I could have got him signing him, in person, but I didn't know that. I already bought it pre-signed by Alan White, and then when I met Klaus Vormann, he was able to add to it, which was nice.
Well, it's like this fellow that I watched named Adam the Woo. Okay, and his favorite movie is Back to the Future. He's got like the poster, the movie poster, and whenever one of the cast members from the movie is about, he has it signed. So it's just filled with everybody that he can get. So that's kind of, in a way, the same idea. Like if you buy a certain album or you get posters and stuff, that you take them around and add more signatures to it, so you can try to get everybody collected. Oh, what's this? Oliver Hardy's in a small uncredited role. Ooh, like a cameo, I guess. See, Rachel knows about Adam DeWoo and Jordan the Lion and Justin Scarred. That bunch. I watch a variety of stuff. I got all my favorites. I watch stuff about roller coasters and Disney and records and traveling around the thing. Yeah, everything.
Have I ever weighed in with you about the Munsters? Your take on the Munsters? I forget if you like the Munsters or not.
I'm quite familiar. I've got the complete series way over there.
Yeah, because I've been watching them on Cozy TV, even though I've got the whole series already. And it's funny because they do cut them for time, and it's around dinner time, my girlfriend and I they play 2 episodes, and it's weird because they're cut, but even though they're cut, I find myself, maybe a lot of people relate to this, I find myself watching them on TV anyway, even though I got them on DVD, So I'm watching them that way, so I've been on a Munsters kick again lately.
But you don't know what I've noticed about those Cozy TV broadcasts of the Munsters? The picture quality is terrible.
Yeah, some of them are really washed out looking.
Yeah, they look like they were photographed through a cloud.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. And they have it says TV PG on there, like rated PG between commercials, getting in the way. I'm like, PG? Anyway, first of all, for the Munsters, PG. Yeah, Munsters fan.
Are little children going to get scared? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. And but then I started thinking that they put the Monster Go Home movie, which I think is kind of inferior to the TV series, my opinion. They put that on Blu-ray. Now I have it on the DVD. And I'm like, do I really need to upgrade that? I usually upgrade everything, but you get older. I don't know if you're like me, Doc, or anybody out there, but after a while, you do start to think, well, when was the last time I watched Monster Go Home, the movie? And how many times in the remaining years will I watch it, But do I need to upgrade it to Blu-ray? It really gets like that, so.
I prefer the Addams Family myself, actually.
Yeah.
I like both, but I prefer the Addams Family. And,
I like the Addams Family now. I didn't like it as a kid, obviously. Because the Munsters was more like a kid-friendly. I appreciate the Addams Family now. I still prefer the Munsters, mostly for, I guess, nostalgia reasons more than anything. But I do like the Addams Family now, though. I don't know a lot of episodes or anything. I'm not familiar with them.
No. Well, I probably am the exact opposite. I could probably rattle off Addams Family episodes rather than the Munsters, but I do like both over there, and I certainly appreciate what they were trying to do, and like Fred Gwynn and Al Lewis together is like geniuses, that sort of thing. But what they went through to make the Munsters compared to the Addams Family, with the makeup and the effects were a lot more pronounced and such. Like poor Fred Gwynn losing weight, doing it.
Yeah, yeah. He went through a lot, and then of course figured it wrecked his career. For him, he felt so. I probably did because he couldn't get work anywhere because they kept thinking he was Herman. I'm laughing, but
It happens to a lot of those actors. I watched a few Car 54s on YouTube, and it's almost like Al Lewis had like a very small role in it. Where before I thought
yeah.
it was more of a Joey Ross vehicle than a Al Lewis thing.
Right. I tried going back to that, but I never grabbed me that show. I mean, I caught it late in life, and it just never did it. And Fred Gwynn was just fantastic in My Cousin Vinny. I thought, that's one thing, he really transcended his monster image, and he did a great job in there.
Well, if it took 30 years to do it. That's too bad.
And it was great that I actually got to meet Al Lewis a few times,
Really?
Oh, yeah. You never saw the photo of me and him together? There's a photo of him and I together. Because in New York's Greenwich Village, he owned an Italian restaurant called Grandpa's.
Mayor too, didn't he not?
I'm sorry?
Didn't he try to run for mayor too?
Yeah, that was later. That was funny. But it was great. You used to go into the Manhattan and you'd go to this restaurant. He'd be there in person, and he'd walk by your table and say, "How is it? How do you enjoy it?" And one time I said to him, "Hey, Grandpa, could you mix me up a batch of nothing muffins?" I don't know if he remembered. It was from one of the episodes, and he said, "Yeah, sure, especially for you." But so I was able to get a photo and an autograph, and it was so cool. The food was good too. I remember, and it was just such an extra treat him being there too.
Wow.
So that was like in the 80s, like 87 to 91, I think, that early 90s.
But Al Lewis did love his grandpa role. So
oh yeah,
some people, they just won't let go. Other people are like, "Oh, I'm typecast. I don't want to be seen as that anymore." But he just loved being recognized as Grandpa Munster.
Yeah, he really he milked that to the hilt, but not in a bad way. I thought it was good that he embraced it. Unlike say Fred Gwynn, who didn't embrace. I mean, I get it. The guy couldn't find work after that. He was stereotyped. I get it, but he really made a mark on history. He's been an iconic character forever that transcends generations. Children everywhere can appreciate that character. That's a good accomplishment, even though when you're trying to pay the rent and the bills, I guess that's not any comfort unless you have big residuals or checks.
Back then, there were no residuals.
Right.
A lot of those 50s, 60s shows going like, "Yeah, we ran for so many episodes and all that, and we didn't make a penny." Or they got residuals for like the first 5 cycles of reruns.
Yeah, they get a few. So I was just watching an interview or a convention where at the panel they had Butch Patrick and they had Pat Priest, and they were both saying that was the case. I think 6 times or something. They get 6 runs or something like that.
6 runs and then nothing, because nobody thought a series like that would run forever.
Right.
But is it? Yeah, the studios own them. Yeah, well, I feel bad for the Stooges. In fact, they were like terrorized into doing what they were.
Yeah. That's funny. They didn't. Yeah, they really got gypped. It was a bad deal.
And how they could not figure out that they were more popular than they thought they were. I don't understand that.
Well, I'm glad they lived to see, at least Mo and Larry mostly got to see them become really popular on TV and everything, So.
But for them to say, "We didn't know they were that popular," and they showed them at one of their personal appearances, and they pulled back the curtain, and holy cow, they're here for us. Get out of here! We thought we'd draw a crowd of 20. Instead, they got 2,000. So,
let's see. Rachel's asking about the Aurora monster models, which I loved those. I grew up with those too. Monsters, monster models. Yeah.
I only had a Batmobile.
Oh, yeah.
The next, yeah, I guess I can grab it up here. It's not the original one. It's even dusty. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I had one of those.
yeah, Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
From about 10 years ago.
Didn't it used to have, didn't the back, the fire used to come out of the back? One of them.
Uh,
You
I
get
think
like a little thing, not real fire, but like a
Yeah, the little
plastic
plastic.
thing.
Yeah, when you rolled it along.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's during the original run, though. Like, I guess they were like the Dinky toys or something of the time. Used to.
Mhm.
They might have even had the figures inside too.
Yeah.
But no, this is just the Hot
Sitting in
Wheels Batmobile from roughly 10 years ago. So that's as much Batman stuff if I got a Rubik's cube that's
Oh, sure, sure.
it's done. I
Did you
told you I'd do it.
did you do it? You didn't do it? Who figured it out?
The cube.
Yeah, you got it done.
Is it around here? Is it grabbable? There it is.
Yeah, there's a movie that I love from the '80s called Night Shift. Henry Winkler is in it, and Ron Howard directed it. It's got Michael Keaton. Anyway, I think that's the movie. I think it is. And somebody's reading that book in there. You know.
You have to
Paul.
turn your head.
I look better now, don't I?
He's
Got my coffee. I'm awake now.
Hey, Paul.
he's
Morning, Joe. How are you?
Good, good. How you make it out?
Oh, I'm not quite going crazy yet.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, no, we're doing good. We're doing good. We're doing good.
a little while ago we were talking about trying to buy stuff at stores that aren't really open, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I went to Home Depot a couple days ago. I needed I'm building another bookshelf, so I needed some trim, and I was short about this much, so I had to buy a whole new 8-foot length. Anyway, I drove by. They were lined up to get in, and I thought, I'm not standing in line for that. Just turned around and came back home.
Well, no, it's like when you walk up and you say, "Oh, I'll just get a carton of eggs or something like that," and you see 10 people lined up outside with their carts waiting to get in.
They haven't started that at our grocery store yet, but I'm waiting. It's probably going to happen.
Yeah, we went to a grocery store this morning. We got there really early, 7:30, because that's when they open. We figured, well, let's get there. We got there, but this particular store that we don't usually go to opens at 8 a.m. So we were half hour early, so we had to wait. And then there became a line of people 6 feet apart, standing with masks, and they're waiting to get in. And somebody came and cut the line, but nobody said anything.
Ooh.
I don't think they even knew it was a line. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, it's just,
They haven't been reading the paper, have they?
I'll tell you though, I cannot find. There really is no toilet paper at these stores. For weeks, the same shelves are bare. Now I have my video where I do go to a place, this little place that's out of the way that I found out about, but the regular supermarkets have been empty for a month. They're not even restocking.
You can find them sometimes. Like I have seen them on the shelf, but
You've done
like 6 packages. You better hurry, quick.
See, hey, Doc, we were talking earlier about beards. Here's where Joe has an advantage. He doesn't have to worry, like he shaves, right? So we were saying earlier that we're all going to end up looking like ZZ Top by the time this
Yeah, this is true. If you have a beard, right? Yeah. Yeah, what are you going to do?
I'm not worried about this. I'm worried about this.
Well, you just trim it, no?
Hey, I'm glad this still grows.
This.
Yeah, well, luckily I got my hair cut just in time.
I was due last Tuesday. I was due, and I couldn't. So I'm on borrowed time now. Anyway.
No, I have not seen the farewell thing. Whatever. I'll have to see later, I guess.
It was very well made. Very well made.
Oh.
It felt like an old time movie. Very well done.
Huh.
Which one's that?
The Invisible Ray farewell video.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Is that just out? Or was that the one a couple days ago?
It was a black and white one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know what was going on there. Anyway, he's an interesting guy, right? Somebody must have got ticked off, or somebody ticked him off or something. What was going on there?
I don't know the whole story. I'm not the. I was mentioned in the video.
Yeah,
as were a couple of other people, but
yeah. I don't know. I had he did one after that, and we had a little bit of a back and forth, and he basically said to me he was just kind of getting bored with all the vinyl things. So he's still gonna be around. He's gonna do movies and TV shows and stuff apparently. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna hold my breath. He's not really on the top of my watch list. In fact, I even watched a little bit of Canadian Stud Muffins live stream yesterday.
Oh yeah,
I missed that. I was going to get on. I missed that. Oh, well.
Has he been able to see his girlfriend?
Okay.
That is a good question.
I know
because they have to travel. She has to travel to see him.
Yeah. There was a video about something about, and here's how a long distance love affair works, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they are seeing each other right now, although they tend to go between visits anyway quite a while. So she must be a ways away, because I think she takes the train when she goes to see him.
Yeah.
So she may be down near you, Doc. I don't know. Like, it sounds like she comes quite a way.
I thought she was the other way towards Montreal City.
Oh, well, maybe she is. I just surmised her. She could well be. Yeah. Because he's in Trenton, which is just kind of halfway between, Toronto and Montreal, kind of,
Yep.
So
I don't know. I thought she was toward Montreal more. So I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know.
We all have these strange perceptions about people. Just like Joe was thinking, hey, Doc is really tall.
Well, from the video, not from here. From the video.
Yeah,
the video you were on the picket line, you look pretty tall.
You did look tall.
I'm not tall though.
Well, tall is all relative. How tall are you?
Like he put wow, you're taller than I imagined you were. I'm going like, oh, I'm not tall.
I'm 6'2". Larry, I think is 6'4". Like Larry Graves is a tall guy.
Well, he's taller than his cat. Yes.
Yeah, I think he's 6'4" or something.
Ooh,
good guy.
Yeah, maybe everybody in the video was a lot shorter than you. That picket video.
Yeah, he did look tall. I thought, geez, he looks. How did you get that big frame into a Mustang?
Well, it wasn't like that 50-foot woman thing, Like,
that could be. Maybe the camera person was short.
Well, see, Rachel's close. It's more like 5'7".
Oh, see, that's kind of average.
Average.
You're an average guy, Doc.
Average short.
Short average. Short.
Yeah, I'm 5'6", but it doesn't bother me. My whole life. I mean, not that I look for these things, but you can tell sometimes if you're waiting at a delicatessen for a stand. There's always guys shorter than how short are these guys? 5'4", 5'5".
You're perfect height for Joe.
So.
Yeah. The picket video. Yeah.
But like you talk about perceptions, I always figured Joe to be somewhat short. But then you have Don, who must be like another foot short.
Yeah, I don't know how short. Well, he's usually short, but I don't really know I don't know his height.
Yeah, he's a little hunched over, right? So.
Well,
yeah, but he's short anyway, though. I don't know.
Maybe being a little hunched, that detracts from being taller than you might really be. So. I don't know. Ooh. Big Rachel, 6'1".
I was going to ask you, Doc, what high school did you go to?
Essex High.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted, because when I did my practice teaching, I was at a couple different ones, but I wasn't at Essex. I was at Walkerton or Walkerville or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah, I grew up in Essex, so I went to Essex District High
Yeah,
School.
that makes sense. Yeah.
So I've only been in Windsor for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a small town boy, you know. Even Essex had a couple record stores though that I used to go to.
Well, I know some people that did their practice teaching at Essex because it's in the area, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, somebody mentioned records. What are
What are
records?
Well, I'm going to start a petition that record stores should be like, what was the term? A vital service
Essential.
or whatever?
Yeah. Record stores are essential, yes.
Yeah, essential. That's the word. I think they should be essential.
Essential, yeah. I tell you, this whole thing going on already. I'm seeing commercials. Maybe you've seen them, where they're talking about if you want to say order a pizza, it comes contactless. You can get a pizza from Pizza Hut, no contact. And I'm like, oh boy, they're starting to get into the ads in the way of life. So I'm thinking, it's okay if it's a couple of months, but if this goes on for long enough, I think I'm going to be afraid to handle records at a store anymore and go through records. It's going to become part of the psyche that.
Well, listen, the last time I was to my record store here a couple of weeks ago, the last time, and it was on my mind as I'm going through the records. Right, I'm watching all these other guys. They get the new stuff come in, right, and everybody's like clamoring around those because they want to see what's new, right, and so. I was a little nervous, to be honest, because I'm looking at these guys and I'm thinking, do I really want to go over there now? But
the only way to get records now is to make your own.
Yeah, the beat.
Yeah.
Thinking of what I have around here to show. Got a lot of stuff within arm reach, but
yeah.
Oh, now we have a little bit on. How do you pronounce record?
Here's all my Beatles stuff.
Record. Oh,
that's my Beatles stuff.
Only the Beatles stuff.
That'll be enough to keep me going for a while, I think.
Maybe we should ask Paul. Do you have the DVD or the Blu-ray?
I've got the DVD of that. Like the box, there's a box set out, right?
Yeah, the double disc set.
Yeah, I've got some sort of box set. HMV had it out.
Okay, so like, if you had to, would you rebuy help the Blu-ray, or just be satisfied with what you have?
I'm probably okay with what I got.
That seems to be
depends what else you get with it, I guess.
For me, it depends on the movie. I upgrade. It took me a long time to upgrade to the Blu-ray. You would have thought that I would have done it right away, but it took me. I got it, I think, as a Christmas gift. Actually, finally got around to getting it because I like to upgrade as a movie fan. I like to upgrade to Blu-ray, and I know people say this all the time. I'm done when it comes to 4K. I know people always say, "Oh, I'm done." But no, really. I mean, I'm old enough now, and to me, Blu-ray looks fantastic, but DVD would look good too. So.
To be honest, I don't have the hardware that would really appreciate it because I do watch my watching on my computer now. So, like it's kind of like perfume on a pig, really.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to really benefit. So it's sort of like the 5x1 or whatever it is, the stereo sound, right? You get all this stuff in the box sets, and I'm not really benefiting from that because I don't have the setup for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have the movie quality setup, with back and rear speakers and woofers and whatever all that.
I don't know. I just never, I never got into that music in a big way like you guys have. So, movies in a big way. But yeah, I just didn't get around it.
Yeah, and now we were talking about like the Munsters movie called Munster Go Home.
Right.
It's like that just came out on Blu-ray, and it's like, well, I got the DVD, looks good, and that's a movie I don't think I'll be watching that many times in my life that I really need to buy the Blu-ray. I'm satisfied. But with something like Help, as an example, I've watched that quite a few times.
And besides, it doesn't have the right Maryland.
Have
what? Did I miss something?
Munster Go Home.
It doesn't have the right Maryland. Oh, yeah.
They didn't invite Pat Priest to reprise her role. Like,
Yeah. I don't know that was weird. But then you had that movie too, The Monster's Revenge. Did you see that one?
that just sucked.
Yeah. I'm glad they did do a reunion, but it too bad it wasn't that good.
Oh no, it was horrible, and it actually was written by the guy who wrote most of the Addams Family episodes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I watched an episode of Car 54, Where Are You, the other day on YouTube. I'd forgotten that Fred Gwynn was in that.
Yeah, we mentioned Car 54 a little while ago.
Yeah.
And maybe Joe can tell all the Al Lewis story a little bit while I go get my Munsters thing.
Oh, no, I was just saying that I had met Al Lewis a few times between 87 and 91, only because he had a Italian restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Greenwich Village in Manhattan, and it was called Grandpa's, of all things. And he would be there, so you could actually go there and have your meal. And he'd be there, coming to the tables, asking everyone how they like it, and sign autographs, and it was to take photos.
Was he dressed up like a vampire?
No, but he looks like that anyway, a little bit. His hair was like kind of sticking out.
He let his mutton chops go. So
yeah, he was.
But that was really a real surreal but enjoyable experience, because I love Italian food, and there I am, obviously I love Italian food, and I'm there, and the food was really good too, and we go there, and an extra bonus, there's the host is, an old TV star,
I thought he was the best part of that show.
He was really good.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
He was funny. Everything he did was funny.
So sometimes actors find a role that they'll show up every minute. As they can't get out of character. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to say, okay, so I got a lot of Addams Family. Got the whole shebang there.
I have a friend who used to work at it's gone, the store's gone now, but A&B Sound. It was a big chain here in BC. And it was right in downtown Vancouver. And he used to get all these guys coming in. Keith Richards was in one day. I mean, all these people come in. Anyway, Sherman Hemsley was in one day. Yeah, exactly. And so Charlie, my buddy, walked up to him, and they started doing the whole shtick, and Hemsley was right into it. He started doing Jefferson. And,
really?
Yeah, they were carrying on. Yeah, apparently he's a really good egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith Richards was in there one day, and he was looking at the records, and I said, "It's a good thing I didn't work there." And I said, "Why not?" And I said, "I would have walked up and said, 'Excuse me, sir, but the Beatles section is over here.'"
Right, yeah. There he is. Since I'm going to get the photo of us together. Since we're doing this, I'm going to get the photo of us together. Let me just go out and get it.
That would be amazing.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I was going to check in here to see.
So how many seasons was that show on?
2.
Just 2, eh?
That and the Addams Family, both 2. They both came on the same.
Like more,
They both came on the same September, and both got canceled September later or whatever, Of
course, that was back in the days when they did like 30 episodes a year.
That's right. So even though they did 2 seasons, they made enough episodes for 3.
Yeah.
But I was looking to find out where the Munster Go Home movie was. So this part has. That's got season 1. Quite a pile here. And let's see. Okay, disc number 6 on this guy.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so you got I got both. Munster Go Home and Munster's Revenge.
Yeah, right. So I don't know if I need to.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need to upgrade. So this is from 1991. And of course, I'm wearing a dorky Beatles hat. But anyway, I don't see how good this is.
Go figure. Oh, there he is.
Yay!
It looks just like him, eh? Like, that's amazing.
And that's the restaurant,
Yeah.
And he's happy to pose.
Oh, he was great. He's really great.
That's nice. That's great. That's a great keepsake.
So.
Yeah, you love that.
Autograph too.
Yeah, I got a photo too autographed. Yeah. Don't have it handy.
Wow. That is pretty darn cool, yes.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Al Lewis was pretty tall too. The thing is that Fred Gwynn is so extra tall,
Yeah.
and with the boots too. So
Right.
he was pretty. So I never thought Grandpa was tall because he looks so short next to Herman, but actually he's tall.
And
He was
don't forget, Fred Gwynn was wearing boots with like
Yeah.
4 inches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget what they said he was already.
Oh, he was something like 6'8" or something. Like he was a massive guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big guy.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was like 6'6", 6'8", something. I don't
Sure.
know.
He was already big before he got the boots
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Grandpa could have been 6'1" or something.
Yeah.
6 foot.
Yeah. He was a big guy.
Oh, Mike Mason?
He was Mike Mason.
Yes.
Hey, Mike.
But like I always thought, poor Fred Gwynn trying to come down those stairs with those boots on. How the heck?
Oh man.
Yeah, he did a hell of a job, considering.
But,
I'd be spraining my ankles.
he would have a cooling tube put down the back of his neck to kind of refrigerate him.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
That suit he wore was like, and the padding to make him look bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he wasn't a big hefty guy at all.
No.
He's very thin. So in the first episode, you could see he's a lot thinner as Herman, but then
Right.
they started to boost him up more.
Right. Well, that's the pilot episode.
Yeah.
So like, even the makeup isn't really good on him.
No.
You can see that it's just kind of slapped on or something.
Yeah.
But no, he wasn't built like Herman Munster in that first pilot episode. No, definitely not.
Which was a terrible, terrible run through. In fact, we watched it last night again, the pilot presentation. Ooh, that's rough.
You know what? I feel sorry for the one who they had for Eddie. Because
Happy Durman.
Yes, because they had him like growling like the werewolf all through
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't his fault. It was how it was written.
Yeah.
Instead, they bumped out Happy Durman and brought in Butch Patrick. Just because the performance was basically what was called for. But
Yeah.
he never got a chance to do it as Leave It to Beaver or whatever,
Right. That's just the way he had to do it.
Yeah. So I feel sorry for me. He lucked out. That's too bad. And was it or Joan Marshall? Oh well.
Saved him from a life of typecasting.
Yeah, Joan Marshall had no flair at all on that pilot anyway.
And they were trying to say she looked too much like Morticia Adams.
Yeah, right.
How would they know?
Wait a minute, was Adam's Family on yet at that point?
Well, no, it wasn't. That's
Oh,
what
was it? No, I think the Munsters came first.
Yeah, 64-ish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have Richard Dolin join us in just a second.
Oh, good.
Yeah, if both series are in production at the same time, how would they say she looks too much like Morticia Adams?
Yeah.
But
I got a duck on my image here. Is that because I'm on a free?
Oh, you got a duck there.
I got a StreamYard duck.
you mean the names? Yeah. It's a free one.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello,
Gentlemen.
Richard.
Who came in?
He's talking to you guys.
Hello, Richard.
Hello.
Suddenly,
That's a Three
I'm
Stooges
followed.
joke too, gentlemen.
Yeah. Who came in? Exactly. So how's Richard today?
How
How are you today?
Yeah.
I'm
Are
good.
you-
How are you today, Joe?
Are you celebrating
Good.
Easter or not?
Well, I'm not really religious, so
Except to the shrine of Paul McCartney.
yeah, I guess.
This is called Holy Saturday, and I think it's just because they didn't have anything else to name it.
Well, it's Easter weekend. They had to name it something,
Well, exactly.
you know.
We're probably going to watch The Passion of the Christ. Now that's a Blu-ray that I've had for a long time. Never watched. I've had it, but haven't opened it yet. But I saw it in the theater, and that's like, isn't that 2004? Gee, well, that's like
Yeah,
16
about
years ago,
that
or something like that. And my girlfriend's never seen it. She doesn't like any kind of blood or anything in the movies. You know, I mean, like,
Oh,
well,
God.
Well, you might
Even
want
if
to
I was even if I was religious, I don't think I could. Oh God.
the funny thing, the odd thing about it is that, you know, even people like, I remember at the time, some older people who are very religious, you know, they wouldn't stand for gore or anything. Somehow were able to watch it. Maybe because of the context. I don't know, suffering or something. But so that's why I thought that maybe my girlfriend could take it. And I was going to find out.
Well, it's totally contextual, and I don't know how accurate a portrayal. Like the worst part, of course, is the flogging that he gets.
Oh, that's really over the top.
I don't
but,
know
yeah.
how factual that is. To me, I thought it was a
No.
little bit overdone, but
Yeah, I remember that's funny, Paul. That's what stands out in my mind.
yeah,
Having seen it in the theater, that's the one
yeah,
scene
that
that
was
really
the worst part of it, was the flogging.
Yeah,
But it was really well done. Otherwise, I mean,
I've never seen it.
yeah, it's worth watching. You know, if you just even if you're not, you know, of the faith, it's just from a historical perspective. It's really well done.
Right, I think so. I thought it was a good movie overall.
Yeah.
And it's Easter too. They always show religious movies around Easter, so.
Well, it's the holiest of holies, right?
I mean, sometimes as a movie fan, sometimes Easter time. I don't know if I'm going to do it this year, but years past, I would take out all the biblical movies, whatever, anything remotely related to those things. Although, like, well, not all of them. Some of them are too long, but like Barabbas with Anthony Quinn is a fun movie. Fun, it's a good movie. Samson and Delilah. Some of these, I got a few of them, and you know.
I think James was in one of those.
James.
What are you doing for Easter, Joe? Well, no, you really can't do much of any.
Nothing. Just staying in, probably watching the movie. That's about it.
Yeah.
No, there's no Easter dinner here, so
No,
you can't sit at a dining room table with 6 feet. It's not gonna work out. So, I guess I'm just gonna make some macaroni and cheese and chill out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut butter sandwiches. All right. Yes, it's protein. All right, okay.
Mac and cheese. You gotta get some wieners in that.
I've got some Snyder's juicy jumbos.
There you go. You can't get
Oh,
that.
that sounds good. Oh, yeah.
Mix those in.
Those are my favorite wieners at the moment. Those things.
That's the best kind of meal to have when you're camping.
Yeah.
Juicy jumbos are just
When you're camping, it tastes like a gourmet meal. It's wonderful.
And don't forget the beans.
Well, yeah, you gotta have pork and beans, of course. That keeps the sleeping bag warm at night, right?
Oh my God.
I think Richard's having a little deja vu or something.
No.
See, I said macaroni and cheese because Americans don't know what KD is.
Yeah, craft dinner. Yeah, you guys have craft dinners down there, or is it just called something else?
Craft dinners.
Yeah, Kraft is a food company in Canada.
Yeah, I know Kraft, but Kraft dinner.
Yeah, it's just mac and cheese.
Yeah, we do that mac and cheese stuff once in a while.
Right,
Yeah.
but in Canada, it's marketed as craft.
Craft dinner, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well,
Are you Canadian too, Paul?
Sorry?
What?
Sorry, Richard, what was that?
I said, are you Canadian too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, pretty much everybody I'm subscribed to what's on
well,
YouTube.
come on up and be one of us.
What?
Yeah, I'm in BC. I live in British Columbia. Yeah. That's still technically part of Canada.
Yeah.
We got all those mountains between us and the rest of Canada, you know. So it's
I only have a river.
Well, here's the thing. You know, I made that comment earlier. It's a Windsor thing because Windsor is different than the rest of Canada, because you guys, when I was there, pretty much everybody in Windsor, they really identify more with American culture than Canadian culture.
True.
It's because, Detroit's like 2 minutes away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the big thing, because it was a culture shock for me. I was in Guelph, which is just outside of Toronto. So for me, when I moved to Windsor, it was like total culture shock. All of a sudden, I had to become a Red Wings fan.
Yeah.
All this stuff, and it was just like at times I wondered if I was still in Canada. Really, it was just like, it was so different.
Have you ever been to Ottawa, Paul?
Yeah, I've been to Ottawa. Yeah.
The first time I've ever been to Ottawa, I felt, so this is Canada.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about, though, because it'd be the same for you going the other way. It's a totally different thing. Like Windsor really is sort of separate from everybody else. There's basically nothing between London and Windsor, Yeah. So that's like a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, I've actually been in the White House.
Yeah. So there you go.
That was when they would let people in. That was pre 9/11. When they didn't have a White House tour, and you went through a couple. And this is I don't even remember what room it was, and it's got a picture of Lincoln on the wall, blah, 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 and they'd herd you out the back door. Thanks for coming. So at least I can say,
I wouldn't mind seeing the White House. I wouldn't mind seeing the White House in person.
It is cool. It is cool. Someday I'm going to get in that Motown house.
But
I see right away. Nice guy Mick can't help starting the politics.
The last time a bunch
Nick.
of Canadians went to the White House, they shut it on
like I
fire.
told you last night, Joe, if this gets political, I'm not getting involved.
No, there's no politics here. No. None of that. Just mention the White House in Ottawa. That's as political as it got.
Nobody's talking to you either, Mick. Believe me. I haven't said a word to you since you've been here. Don't you got a video or something to make that nobody's going to watch?
I love that.
Is that Mick showing up again?
Yeah.
Mick slash
I didn't even
Henry?
read the comment. I did not even look at the comments.
Yeah, I went to Motown
Yeah,
last
Motown.
Oh, I would love to go to the Motown studio.
days. So I got to sit on the front porch. That was cool.
Oh man, you got to go to. Oh man, Rachel, you got to go to Sun Studio in Graceland. Oh man, I'm jealous.
So Doc, you must have been to the Henry Ford Museum, right? You've been there
Years ago.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. What an amazing place that is.
Mm-hmm. There won't be any of that this year.
No. I saw the James Bond DB5 there. It was there. It was on tour, and it was the actual car. This was back in the 90s, and they had it there. The one with the machine guns, the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They had it roped off. A buddy of mine, he actually stepped over the rope and looked inside the car. He got shit for it.
James Bond. Somebody say James Bond.
Yeah.
Somebody say James Bond.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm going to be making a James Bond ranking video on my
that'd
channel.
be great.
So
I tell you how long I've been doing James Bond. All mine is
it's not easy to rank these things, and
No.
20-something movies.
Joe,
Am I the only one that doesn't like those movies?
I wouldn't say. I don't know. I don't know everybody in the world, but I would imagine that there are other people that don't care for them.
I just love Skyfall.
I just don't
That's
get
my
movies.
favorite. Skyfall is an amazing movie. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I only saw it a couple of times, that one.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed that. It's just, I think what really got me was it got into his whole backstory. And I think, it was about time they did that. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
I saw Skyfall. And I like the music. The Adele.
Skyfall. I remember the theme song.
That was
It's just in my head.
Adele did that.
Yeah,
love
I think so.
Adele.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
love
one of the better Bond themes. Right after
Oh,
Gold.
here, nice guy Mick will be starting here because I said I love Adele. I'll be saying all I love is pop music.
Oh yeah, I know. And all I listen to is the Beatles and nothing else. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I love Adele and Lady Gaga, so that's all I listen to is pop music.
Wow, there's 24.
Binge watch, Rachel. Binge watch.
I only have 2.
Well, Rachel, you know, I don't know, but if you're I'm gonna do a plug, but I have a channel called Mayo's Movies. They're all together as one word, no space, and I'm going to be doing. You'll get to see for what it's worth, my choice of least favorite to most favorite, and let's see what's number one. You never know.
Who is doing the theme song for the new Bond movie?
Oh, was it Billie Eilish? Was it Billie Eilish?
Oh no!
I'm not. I thought I heard that. Maybe I'm not sure.
Really?
Billie Eilish, the girl.
Oh, Eilish, okay.
Eilish, the singer.
Everybody's really into her. I haven't really listened to any of her music, so I don't know.
Where are you staying? Are you staying?
Yeah, I guess I'll stay.
All right, good.
There's a couple of trailers out for it, and Daniel Craig's looking a little old now.
Yeah, well, the first one was 2006.
Yeah,
Casino Royale. You know, he looked kind of haggard and older then. Just the way he looked. He has that hard look, but
yeah, he does. Yeah,
you know, so I don't. It's got to be up there. So,
I remember when they first chose him. Everybody was outraged. Oh, Bond can't be a Bond. You know, it can't be blue-eyed blonde Bond. I mean, but now I can't think of anybody else doing the role.
yeah, well, they've changed the flavor of Bond. I mean, I didn't know when Casino Royale first came out with the Craig one.
Yeah.
Somebody said it was like I never saw the Bourne films, Bourne Identity, I think, or those kind of.
Good. Yeah.
They said it was taken after that, like it's got a different feel to the Bond films. I don't know. You know, people have said a long time ago. Some people, maybe we're done with James Bond. I mean, I don't know. Are we? Does that really work anymore today? You know, you can't do it I'm trying to keep this the right way, proper way. You can't do it the way it used to be on PC, let's say, way. You can't do that anymore with as far as you know, him going with all these women and all this kind of stuff. You can't do that.
I think people want something a little more raw these days. You know, they want it a little closer to the bone kind of thing. It's been 5 years, right, since the last one.
Look at this! Look at this sick guy. Block this guy from here. Look at this. Would love to rip that stupid mic off Mayo's face. Nice guy, Mick said. The guy's crazy. This guy, he's nuts.
Yeah, I'm not getting those comments. Is he leaving comments to you?
It says it on mine. Now it's the.
I just gave him the boot.
You know, the guy. I mean, he tries to be nice. He was a guy that was called Henry the Horse originally, and
yeah.
You know, I tell you, I have tried with this guy many times.
Joe, you're not alone, buddy. You're not alone. I've been really patient with him, but he went at Brad. Well, I made a comment when Brad's dog died, and Nick or Mick or whatever Dick I call him. He started getting into all these theological things and there's no animals in heaven, and I just thought, you know, here we are trying to console Brad and support Brad, and he gets into this crap. And in the end, I said, you know, you need to read the Bible. He says, oh, there's no references. I said, I wrote back and I said, read Genesis. That's where it starts. You know, like just read what's in the Bible. You know, anyway, he was getting onto this whole tangent. And I thought, you know, that was kind of the end of my patience for him. I just thought that was not cool.
Well, you know, I try to be fair because we've had in the past good movie discussions and and even here a little bit. I'm done entertaining him or quite, you know, bothering with him, but you know, he was making a lot of really joining the conversation. But every once in a while, politics come in or personal religious beliefs come in, and
it's not appropriate.
Yeah, degrading people. He's made fun of it. It's just not right, in my opinion.
Lonely guy.
Yeah. I understand. He's an older guy. He's by himself. He's, you know, I understand. He wants to fit in. He comes to all the chat. I get it, but just be cool. Don't be a jerk.
I got a basic rule about all of this stuff. If you're sitting in someone's living room and you wouldn't say it there, then you shouldn't say it here either. That's kind of how I approach it. Like
Yeah.
when you're on my channel, you're a guest in my house. That's the way I look at it. And if they don't like that, then
Yeah, I
they
look at it the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like me wearing this thing. You know, and the main reason I do this is simply because I have neighbors upstairs and they flush toilets, they walk around. So this sometimes just helps get rid of that, I guess, ambient sound. So I kind of rely on this more than not these days.
Joe, you're lucky you don't have my upstairs neighbors.
I don't hear anything.
No, not right now, but
I personally like that you wear that, Joe, because sometimes when you do chats or make videos, I can't really hear you that well. And when you
people have said that too.
Great.
And I don't know because I got a new phone, in December, and I thought the new phone was a little better with that, hopefully. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Some of your videos, I would have to turn up really loud to hear what you were saying.
Yeah, people have
What's
said
the
that
big
with
deal about
the
wearing
old
a headset? To me, it's just a headset. Who cares? Like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's got a real fixation. And the funny thing is, this guy, I don't want to say anymore. I don't bother with this guy anymore. But the irony is, he touts himself as a very religious, loving kind of guy.
Yeah, well,
You know how that goes sometimes.
And then the Judas.
You know what we say in the church? Just do as Jesus would do, and that's what I try to do. And
yeah.
Sometimes Mick doesn't quite make that.
It's a shame. A real shame.
Jesus would block people too.
Well,
I don't know.
Like, what would Jesus do? Yeah, I'd push the block button. Yeah, give him the boot. He's out of here. He never kicked Judas out, and he should have known better.
Well, like I say, if somebody's in my living room being rude, they get shown the door. And that's the way I look at it.
Somebody else's place, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus does block people. No kidding.
Well, I'm not gonna. I'm not speaking for him, especially this weekend.
Well, I'll give you. This is the worst one anyway.
Well, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that.
So now you know
that seemed like just an excuse to make a movie. Like that didn't really.
Yeah.
Like, I can't actually even remember anything from that movie.
I was going to say that movie and Die Another Day, you can find in the bargain bins very easily.
Yeah, Die Another Day is down there too. I'm looking at my list here.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either.
But people are going to be surprised at some of the ones I don't like, though. But anyway,
that's good, though. Shake it up.
That's what makes the world go round.
Shake them up. That's what I.
It had a good opening.
The next Beatles ranking I'm going to do. Next Beatle ranking I'm going to put Yellow Submarine at the top.
Yeah, put Abbey Road as your worst favorite.
Yeah, I'll do a Larry Graves and just do a bizarro world of the Beatles rankings.
Yeah.
Sergeant Pepper should be number one.
See, I don't think it is. That's never been my number one.
You don't know me that well, Paul. You'll probably thought it.
I've never put it in number one.
Yeah, well, I know Richard. He's saying he doesn't never really cared for it much either. Sergeant Pepper. Yeah. It's not my favorite at all. It's not in my top 5. But I mean, I do love the album, and I appreciate it for what it is, and I think it deserves all its accolades.
I think it's number 1 in terms of its musical significance.
Right.
But in terms of just the aesthetics and just music value, I don't think it's their best. And in fact, if you took a day in a life off that album, to me that would, well, see, I think that's the greatest.
That's Richard.
Thing. If you took that off, that would be a pretty mediocre album, in my opinion.
You're sitting next to a man who thinks it's one of the worst, most overrated songs.
That is John Lennon at his purest finest. That to me is just an amazing album track.
I read the news today. Oh, boy. Oh, God, give me a break.
No, never mind doing a parody of it. Just sit
And
down.
for Joe who thinks that I'm just throwing him up with Paul, and Paul can't.
You are.
I didn't like it when Paul does it live either. Okay, Joe. I don't
Yeah,
like
he
it when
shouldn't
Paul
do
does
it
it either. I
live.
still think it's boring and.
What
Yeah,
about?
that's not a McCartney track. He shouldn't do it live.
Well, yeah,
But
but
when he does it, when he did it live, I still didn't. Well, when
No,
he still didn't. Well, when he still didn't live, I didn't like it either. So
I wouldn't expect you to like it live just because Paul does it.
To me, it's Lennon. That's as John Lennon as you're going to get with that track. I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
same boat. James doesn't really care for Day in the Life either. Boo on you, James.
Yeah, I would say
Well,
it's very
fine.
Paul
Wow,
too, though.
Jake.
I think it's very John and very Paul. I think that's why it's so brilliant in a way.
Yeah,
because-
no, I think it's a brilliant. It's just me. I can't. I always feel something when I listen to that song, and I've been listening to it for 50 years, and I always feel something when I listen to that song.
Oh yeah, well, me too.
So that's my experience with it, and that's where I am.
Hey, but like I said, everybody can't enjoy everything. We can't all agree on everything. Obviously, God knows I don't like Pet Sounds, and I'm like one of the few people.
Well, I don't.
You're
I
not
don't
alone.
either.
I don't. You're not alone. I don't like it.
Like I like it, but I don't own it. I don't have a copy of it. So what's that tell you?
I like three. I like three songs off of it.
Three songs off what?
Off Pet Sounds. I
Me
like Wouldn't It Be Nice, Luke John B, and God Only Knows. Other than
That's
that,
me.
That's all you
Well,
need.
I think everybody feels that way.
And if
Those
somehow they could have got good vibrations
yeah, that would have been good.
then I
Yeah,
would have had an
see,
EP.
Yeah.
well, it should have been on that album. I don't know why it wasn't. It should have been,
Yeah.
because that's an amazing song.
Basically, everybody has agreed that Pet Sounds is awful, really. So.
Well, it's not even I'm going to get in trouble here, but it's not even the Beach Boys. That's one of my beefs with it. It's not. They're singing, but that's all they're doing.
Yeah, but when they talk about overrated albums, boy, that's got to be at the top of the list.
Well, it's my pick, but you know.
Because everybody talks about it. Oh, Pet Sounds, Pet Sounds. I'm going, no, it's awful.
Well, when you talk about Pepper, you always end up like we have talking about Pet Sounds. And it's like, well, the Beatles recorded Pepper, the Wrecking Crew recorded Pet Sounds.
Hmm.
Yes.
To me, it's like it's an apples and oranges thing. I don't know how you can actually compare the two.
We Austin
Because
Creation
it's not
is Paul McCartney's Pet Sounds, and I don't mean that in a good way.
It's a Brian Wilson solo album is really what it is.
Mhm. Yeah, but the Beatles and the Beach Boys were seen as, they were competing with each other. So if the Beatles had Pepper, the Beach Boys had Pet Sounds, and
Yeah.
gosh, not good, not good.
Okay, so now we've slaughtered Pet Sounds, but
I love when people say, and rightly so, that Paul McCartney loves Pet Sounds, as if that means that I have to like everything Paul likes because I like Paul McCartney. No, I don't. And there wouldn't be Sgt. Pepper if not for Pet Sounds, because he wanted to top that or do something. I agree, but let's not forget that Brian Wilson at first was influenced by Rubber Soul to do Pet Sounds. So
that's right.
it goes back to the Beatles anyway, But still, I realize I'm a minority, and that's okay,
Yeah,
Well, there you go.
I just do.
Well, I don't see very many Pet Sounds shrines or anything like that. So, and anything past.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And, I understand why people love it, and that's great that they do. But like Joe says, I don't have to. And that's cool too. It's the same with A Day in the Life, which is the greatest song ever done. but
You're gonna drive Richard crazy.
but not everybody has to feel that way.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut here
Wait
because
a
I could
minute.
really go.
I have to ask Paul now that he's here. Are you
'Cause I could
familiar with
really
the
go off.
album
I'm gonna
Chaos
keep my
and
mouth
Creation
shut.
in the Backyard?
Yeah,
Paul?
yeah.
What do you think of it?
Oh my god!
I think again,
I need a
artistically,
drink.
I think it shows that when McCartney's pushed, he can come out with some really good music.
Oh,
Well, he was.
Oh,
Just
my-
the producer, I can't remember the guy's name, but
Oh,
he
we need
pushed
Tom
him on
Vignetti
that
here.
album.
oh my god! No.
McCartney hated the guy, but he put out some really good work there. Now, I don't want to get into whether I think
I like you. I don't know you that well, Paul, and I really like you, but I have to completely disagree with what you're saying.
okay, fine. But Joe,
I didn't know how Paul was going to answer either. I had no idea.
well, no, I think it's a fine album. I don't know if I would count it as his best, but I think it's a fine album, and I think in a lot of ways it kind of hits me the same way John Lennon's Plastic Ono Band did, in that
Yes.
it's very much Paul McCartney the way he can be if he's just honest with himself.
Yeah, a little more. I use the word vulnerable. Would you agree? A little more vulnerable, a little bit more open.
Yeah, and I think
that's what I like about it.
Yeah, I think it's because he was pushed.
I don't have anything against being vulnerable.
He had a producer.
My God, the whole thing have to be. Oh God!
He had a producer that was not afraid to push him, and
Right.
I think that's why it's the way it is. I kind of, it has that sort of feel about it. It's raw. It's not raw. It's a true insight into Paul McCartney as an artist, and that's what I like about it. And you can argue whether the songs are great or not. That's fine, but I'm looking at this at a deeper level as to just what its intrinsic value is musically. And you don't have to like the music to appreciate how good an album it is, right?
Well, we happen to be in sync on this one, you and I.
What's that?
So we happen to be in sync on this one, you and I, with the same.
I'm not surprised. We see a lot of things the same, but I think it's a great album. I don't know if it's his best. I like New. I love New.
I love New. The New more. I like New more than Chaos. Even
New got me back into Paul McCartney after he put out so much crap in the '80s. I left him. I'm done with you. And New got me back into it. Because I really think that's an astounding album. Again,
it's good. I agree. Yeah, it's good to hear a lot of love for New, because to me, I thought it was a really terrific album. And then Egypt Station, which I don't like as much. Everybody now is kind of into that, and they forget about New. It's like it doesn't even exist anymore. It's like just bypass it.
Yeah, Egypt Station is pretty good for someone of that age and what he did. I think he was trying to be too. I think he was forcing himself to be a little too contemporary, and I don't find it an honest album like Chaos is. I find he's just trying to be deliberately more commercial, and I'm not. I like the music on it, but I don't like that feel to it. It just seems overly commercial, in my opinion. Whereas New, I think, was innovative. It was new.
Yeah, the title really fits the album.
It does. It does.
Besides, the cover is so neat. What the hell is that? All those little neon.
Yeah.
Somehow it spells the word out. Somehow.
I don't know. I always
So I'm assuming you don't like Press to Play, Paul.
What was that? An album?
Yeah, Press to Play. I'm assuming you don't like it.
No, I can't stand it. Listen, about a year and a half ago, I tried to play that album, and I played side one, and I refused to flip it. I couldn't listen to side two.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh no, I
think it's good.
I do not like that album at all. I do not like it at all.
Yeah, nor I just did a show on that, the Talk More Talk show with that. I had to try to hold it back a little bit,
Some people love it, but I can't.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I can't see it. That album to me is a turkey. It should be put back in the oven.
What happened to Richard? Yeah, I think so. Turkey. Put it on the Thanksgiving table.
My phone keeps going out.
See, that was the album that turned me off of Paul McCartney. That was the last McCartney album I bought before I bought New. That was it.
That many, huh? Wow.
Yeah. No, I came home. I bought that album. I put it on and I listened to it. I said, I'm done with Paul McCartney, because the one before Pipes of Peace I was disappointed in. Give my regards to Broad Street, I was disappointed in. He just come out with a series of what I thought were really subpar albums, and I cashed it in at that point. So that's it. I'm done with him. And,
well, that was the general feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of a disappointing time because Ringo had stopped recording, and with his drinking issues, and then of course George wasn't doing anything. John was gone. So that was the 80s was not a good time for Beatles solo work.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, I forget, did you, because I can't remember, so I watch videos by everybody, but I forget who's who sometimes, what they like. You said you like, I know you like New, but I forget, did you backtrack and listen to the other albums of Paul's?
Oh, yeah. No, I have been. Yeah, absolutely. So,
what do you think of the other ones, like
well,
Memory
I
Almost Full?
like the stuff he did, starting with Off the Ground. I think with Off the Ground, he started coming back around.
That's what I think, yeah.
And the stuff he was doing in the 90s, I really started, when I got back into it, I really enjoyed that stuff. Yeah. Even Thriving Pain, Joe, sorry.
Oh.
Well, wait a minute. Richard likes Driving Rain.
Well, I don't mind it.
Now there's a happy meeting there. Richard's back up.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that album at all. I kind of put it in the context of everything else he was doing during that period. So it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, no, I like the stuff. I really enjoyed Memory Almost Full. I think that's a good one too.
Remember, it's a good album.
Memory Almost Full is a good album, I think.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
anything but Driving Rain.
I mean, Kisses on the Bottom is, you take it again for what it is, right?
It's
an album of standards.
Yeah.
And I'd be happy if he never did another one of those. But he may never do an album.
Yeah, I love that album for some reason. I love Kisses on the Bottom.
It's fine.
It's a good nostalgic album. And again, I'm not surprised McCartney did something like that, because that's kind of who he is. He's a very nostalgic guy.
Yep.
So to me, it makes sense.
I'm surprised it took him so long to get to that. I would have thought he might have done a standards album earlier. I'm glad he did one.
Yeah, Flaming Pie is getting reissued on July? What's the date?
24th.
24th.
Oh, it is coming out. That's good, because
that's if the pandemic will allow it.
There's 3 albums I don't have on vinyl. There's that one, Run Devil Run, and Off the Ground I don't have on vinyl. So I want to obviously get. Oh, and Driving Rain I don't have that on vinyl either.
Thanks for not calling it Thriving Pain.
I might not even call it that anymore. I don't know.
Joe. Anyway,
I will say I don't despise it as much as I did in the beginning.
You really hated it there at one point.
Oh yeah. At the time I really thought it was the worst of all 4 Beatles solo albums by anybody, only because originally I personally didn't even enjoy one song off it. Where even say Ringo, his worst albums I'd like 1 or 2,
Right.
But now I like a few songs off.
So what's the worst Ringo album?
Well, I'm unique. I say Old Wave. A lot of people like Old Wave.
I'd have to agree. And again, that was the last Ringo album I bought for a while.
You and everybody else.
I stopped buying Ringo albums after old. Now I like it that Joe Walsh, because I love Joe Walsh.
Oh,
but
you
he
mean
didn't save that album. So,
oh, you never got What's My Name?
Sorry?
You never bought What's My Name?
No.
No.
Oh, I love it. I love that album. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh no, so
I didn't like that album.
The new one, yes.
I didn't like that album. I listened to most of it. I didn't really enjoy it.
Okay. How about Time Takes Time?
Yeah, I like that too. That's good.
Yeah, that's
that. What's My Name?
Yeah, I like Time Takes Time, but I mean, Ringo from '73 is always going to be my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still number one for me. But I liked What's My Name so much, and I'm talking about I played it like a lot of times. It must have been 10 times. I had it in my car and I kept playing it.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot too. I've got the CD and the vinyl on that one.
It's been my number 3 of all his 20 albums. That's how much I like it.
If it is indeed the last album he does, I think it's a good one to go out on. Like
I agree.
He did a good job on it. And of course, he's got tremendous help from his friends.
Always.
I mean, you can't beat Steve Lukather as a co-writer and a guitarist. I mean, the guy's incredible.
Yeah, he's good.
Joe Walsh is all over the album as well. So
what I like about it so much, I find it very up tempo. Very, for the most part. I mean, a couple of songs are not, but it just moves.
It's the kind of stuff that Ringo's voice is best suited for. That's the kind of music that he's got the right voice for. And
country album.
Yeah,
country. They're still waiting for him to do maybe return to country. The album before that, Give More Love, was supposedly going to be a country album, but it never panned out that way.
No.
So they wound up doing 2 or 3 that would have a country flavor.
Well, Bokua Blues is an amazing album. Like I thoroughly enjoy that. I don't play it all the time because I'm not into country, but it's an amazing album. Like for an album, post Beatles album, I think he did a really good job on that.
I thought Ringo was suited for country.
Well, I think he's got the right voice for it. Yeah, that kind of.
Yeah, I think so. I think his voice is good for. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
What goes on through your mind?
Like I love, like on the first album, Boys. He did an amazing vocal on that.
Oh yeah.
I did that comparison just recently with Please Please Me, and I played that track and I had the headphones on, and it just kind of blew me away. I thought, holy geez, these guys are like, it rocks more than Twist and Shout does.
Especially when he does the it's just the extended at the end of it.
And Ringo's vocal is just amazing on that. I thought it was really good, for the first album.
What song are you talking about?
Sorry, Boys.
Oh, I love his vocal voice.
Yeah.
I like I Want to Be Your Man too. I like the way he sings that. He rocks out on that too.
And does it today still? You go see him in concert today, he does that in Boys. And
yeah,
why he doesn't
still
do
does it.
more modern material? I don't know why.
Yeah, well, we were wondering if he was going to do anything off What's My Name this time, but now he's. I was going to see it in June, but understandably, it's postponed till June of next year.
Oh, geez.
Oh, really?
Where he will be pushing 81 in June of next year. So
they're wheeling him out. I don't know if you've been there on a show that I saw. He was jumping around.
Oh, sure.
For someone who's had his health issues and everything, he's doing amazing. Like he's just an amazing guy. He had health issues when he was a kid. He's obviously probably had some damage from his alcoholism and all that. He's just doing incredibly well.
It really is impressive, and he's in such a good shape. That's why when you said, Paul, about as a child him being so ill and stuff, and sometimes they told his mother he wouldn't live. He'll be dead in the morning or something, he used to say. And, here he is, since 88, really, abandoning all the booze in 88. And now, I'm just saying this for a reason. I mean, we don't know how it's going to pan out with Paul and Ringo, but could you imagine if Ringo was the last Beatle standing? That would be so ironic after all that.
It would be, yeah.
Go to hospitals in his youth. Well,
he didn't finish school. He didn't finish school even.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd say he's done well.
Yeah.
He done pretty good for a dropout.
Yeah.
I always, the people who hammer Ringo and say he was lucky to be part of the Beatles.
I can't stand those people.
Man, I I just say to people, will you just shut up and sit down and listen to a Beatles album? And
really.
listen to A Day in the Life.
There you go, Rich.
Oh,
We like to play tweak Rich.
In all honesty, all joking aside, Richard, if you play A Day in the Life and you listen to Ringo's drumming on that song,
I can't hear it drumming because there's all that damn noise in the middle of the thing. I can't hear the
Talking
drumming.
about that subtle
listen to the musicality of his drumming on that song alone, and you can. Oh, that's all you have to say. The guy was extremely musical. It's just unbelievable, his feel and his timing. It's just unbelievable. And that was throughout their careers. I don't get these people who slam him for his drumming. It's like, yeah, so the guy doesn't do like John Bonham 10-minute solos. Who the hell cares?
Yes.
I enjoy those anyway. I think that's a bunch of noise.
That's not his style, you know. Paul was a very capable drummer, but he wasn't a better drummer. Also, I think that, you know, it is true. Let's face it. I mean, I know what you mean. The Lucky thing is kind of ridiculous comment.
Paul would no.
But he did get a, you know, I mean, he was lucky. He was lucky to get in the Beatles, Paul. Just, you know, as a matter of saying. But also, the Beatles always said they were lucky to get him because John at the time said, you know, that he was a professional and we were amateurs, you know, at the time.
I love Paul, but that comment was completely.
Ringo actually came down the ladder to join the Beatles.
Yeah, actually, at the time. Yeah, at that particular time. But, you know, the thing is, nobody really talks to him about this, but they actually were going to get a recording contract. So, I mean, he liked the Beatles anyway. He liked playing with, he loved them and loved playing with them anyway.
Yeah.
But when you hear that they're going to have a recording contract.
He played with them a little bit while he was in Rory Storm in the Hurricane.
That's right.
Which was the biggest group really at the time. It was you know, well-renowned, a professional quote-unquote group, the biggest band at the time. So Ringo was like the man, you know, and so the Beatles were just as lucky to get Ringo, you know. So what happened to Richard?
I think he hit a button wrong. Just what I was about to say, can you imagine what the Beatles how they would have turned out if they would have found Keith Moon as their drummer?
I always wonder about stuff like that. Would John and Paul have written differently then? I don't know.
No, that wouldn't have worked. It wasn't right for that band. They were too polished. The reason Moon worked with the Who is because they were rude and crude, and that's what they needed for a drummer. He wouldn't have worked for the Beatles. They wouldn't have even considered him.
Yeah, it wasn't their kind of music.
No,
they were so hard to come by in Liverpool that they had a choice between him and Pete Best. Woo, what a choice, you know.
Well, I'm sure there were others around, and I don't think, like, if you took any one of those guys out of that band, I think they still would have done well. I mean, you know, I don't think it was. You know, the common belief is it took the four of those four guys to do what happened. It took those four. It was a very unique thing. It was like lightning in a bottle. So
the four perfect pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get into all this what if stuff. It's kind of pointless. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the White Album
fun,
being a single disc, you know.
Yeah, I hate to, because I love the White Album just as it is, but I did one of the shows, a podcast, where I was a guest where the topic was, you know, what single album would you have, you know, to make it a double into a single? And I hate doing that, but I did it for the fun of it. You know, I participate. Yeah. But I agree with Paul. It was great. It sold. It's the bloody Beatles White Album. Shut up.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Paul quote ever.
Oh, it is. It's amazing. He's absolutely right. I mean, you can never get agreement on what songs to take off. So I think that says it all right there. If you can't get universal agreement,
sure.
then why would you even do it? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was an experiment.
He's busy trying to get the link back for Richard.
Oh, yeah. You must be getting interruptions. Anyhow.
This has been definitely a fun discussion all around.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
Well, it's fun. I mentioned we have so much fun, Richard and I. We always go, we tease each other. We go back and forth. We have fun.
He really doesn't like a day in the life, eh?
No.
He's the only guy I know who doesn't like a day in the life.
Yeah. No, I actually the Beatles are like lower to him than say Paul McCartney.
Oh, there he is. Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah.
What, you forget to pay your internet bill, Richard?
Right?
Did you forget to pay your bill?
My mother called me, and there was something we had mixed up or something.
Oh, okay.
I'm back.
There you go.
How kind of you to think of me when I was out of sorts.
Terrible vocals.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
Yeah.
My mother listened to Humperdinck. That's how I got Tom Jones. That's how I got an appreciation for those guys. My mother used to listen to them.
Those guys could sing.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, exactly.
Richard is young, so his position on Mac. I couldn't read that. What was
vis-a-vis the Beatles is understandable.
I don't know.
Well, he made a video on this. If I give him a little plug, look at join Richard's channel, and you can see he made a video on as to why he prefers Paul, say, solo artist to the Beatles, and he explains that that's understandable.
Yeah, it makes sense because that's the first thing he ran into was Paul McCartney. Didn't know he had another band before Wings.
Yeah.
Well, so much of our own personal experiences influence us, right? Like if I hadn't have been around in the 60s, who knows if I would feel the same about the Beatles, right?
Oh, yeah.
Second generation, for example. It's all based on, during that time is where all your sort of tastes and influences are set, right? And so I was saying to somebody the other day, the reason I'm not into the Beach Boys is because they weren't part of my life during that time period. And so, I don't have really an appreciation for them like others might, because it's just wasn't my experience at that time in life, right? So,
on the video, you must have been subjected to it.
Oh yeah, but I mean, where I grew up, they weren't dominant on the radio or anything like that. My older siblings weren't into them, so I never got into them. It's just I wasn't exposed to them like others maybe were. So that's probably why I'm not into them now.
There's not much surfing here, but I heard plenty of Beach Boys growing up.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I definitely have an appreciation for them because I was actually a huge fan, a Beach Boys fan growing up. They were my first concert, so I definitely have an appreciation for them.
I like the Beach Boys, quite a bit. Meaning the surfing stuff, the earlier stuff. Yeah. I love the "Don't Worry, Baby." That's like my favorite song by them. But I agree with Paul what you said. Obviously, when you're younger, what you're influenced by or what you come to know. But I mean, I also, contrary to certain people who want to believe otherwise, I still wind up liking other music. Like I just got into Johnny Cash over the last few years, and I never would be interested in Johnny Cash when I was growing up. So, and it took a long time for me to really get into Elvis. Even
it's different though. I'm talking about the stuff that you're really passionate about.
Oh, right? The passionate stuff. Yeah.
Like it's sort of like I said, if I hadn't been around in the 60s, I don't think I'd be as passionate about the Beatles as I am today.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't have been part of my personal experience at that point in life.
Yeah, passion.
I've gotten into all kinds of music since then, but I don't have that passion that I have for the Beatles. It just isn't there.
I got you.
Anything but the Wonder Who.
I love Freddie and the I love Freddie and the Dreamers, Rachel.
Don't think twice, it's all right.
You don't like those falsettos. So,
Anyhow,
I just had a brain fart with the guy that
that
did
smell was.
strikes and what's his name? Lightning strikes.
Lou Christie.
Lou Christie. Yeah.
Oh, Christy, yeah.
Oh, perfect. There. Richard's got it. Don't think like
That's actually right in my. That's actually right in my vocal range.
There you go. Can you give us a few bars of Don't Think Twice?
I don't know that one.
Whoa. Learn that one for Joe.
Yeah, the Frankie Valli version. Yikes!
Do, do.
I like Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, just not that one.
And it's too bad the Four Seasons were going to appear here a few weeks back, but got canceled because of the virus.
Yeah.
And he's still doing it. Yeah, he's still doing it, Frankie Valli.
Oh, I wanted to go to that show, but the virus killed the show. So
Yeah. He's on my bucket list.
Frankie Valli is?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Better hurry up.
He's a
Yeah.
I wanted to see Peter Noon. I actually never saw. I like Herman's Hermits, and I actually never saw Peter Noon. And everybody
I
making
love
videos about him. Yeah, Beetle Brad and Matthew Street. People were making videos. And I said, I really like the guy, and I never got to see them. And the funny thing is that he was at a fest for Beatles fans just a few years ago, and I missed that one. But yeah. So
Well, Jan Byers, I would expect you to still be doing vocal exercises during the lockdown. You have to do vocal exercises.
Demonstration there.
I do vocal exercises every day.
Yeah,
And I think that is part of the reason why Paul struggles with his voice and can't really sing that good anymore. It's because he's never really done proper vocal.
big Supremes fan here, Rachel. I love the Supremes. Diana Ross and the Supremes.
I always thought Paul's problem was that he probably overused his voice. He doesn't rest it enough.
Well, yeah, that's true. He overuses it. Doesn't do vocal exercises, which you have to do.
I figured.
It's too bad. I never thought I'd say it, but we're now in the day where Ringo is the best vocalist in the Beatles.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, Ringo's the best singer in the Beatles right now.
He still sounds like Ringo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have anywhere to fall. No, I mean I like Ringo's. I like Ringo's voice for who he, what it is. I don't.
Oh no, yeah, like I said before, he doesn't have a great voice, but I like it for what it is. I like it for what it is.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you for that comment. Thank you.
I always figured Paul ruined his voice trying to sound like Little Richard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Doing that screaming that really affects your voice.
I imagine it does.
That screaming, doing that for 50 years, that's definitely had an effect on it.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. All these guys we've lost this year. It's amazing, eh? Just reading Mike Mason's comment there. Never really into John.
Bill Withers. Yeah, I like Bill Withers.
Yeah. It's like remember 2016? God's lost a lot.
Oh, yes. That was a ridiculous year.
Still feeling that.
I've always wanted to do a song like that where I just like scream like that, like Paul did, like do all that screaming. But I've never done that someone like that because it is.
I want to hear your version of Monkberry Moon Delight, Richard.
Oh yeah.
No, I can't do it. I can't do it. No.
That's what I want to hear.
I just watched a video last night. You guys watch Rick Beato? He's a producer. He's pretty good actually. He did a video. He'd be older. He'd be our age, guys. Well, maybe not Richard's, but ours. He did a video of the top 20 rock singers. And it's an interesting list, and he put Little Richard as number one. And he said that so many that followed after Little Richard kind of, used him as their inspiration, right? It was an interesting list, and it's funny because he had a bunch of grunge people on there. That's like some of them I never even heard of, and yet there were so many others that he didn't have on there that I found interesting. Anyway, you should check. Rick Beato is the guy. You should check it out. It's an interesting video.
That's a good choice for number one, Little Richard. That's.
Well, I thought it was an interesting choice, but I didn't agree with a lot of the guys he had on it because he was showing some examples, and quite honestly, guys, all these guys were doing was screaming. Like that's all they were doing. It's like, well, does screaming make you a great vocalist? I don't think
rock and roll. Like Elvis, and Elvis, a great vocalist, but
well,
one of the first songs I did was Maybe I'm Amazed, and I didn't know any better, and I just tried that. I just started doing a big screaming like Paul does, and my vocal teacher stopped me in the middle of it and said, "Don't do that. You don't want to do that. That's gonna."
Oh wow! Well, I want you to try a version anyway of Old Siam Sir. You know that song?
I can't do Old Siam. That's gonna. My voice will be messed up for a month. I can't sing that.
Oh my!
Paul shouldn't have sang that because that messed up his voice.
I'm so glad to see you here, also from that same underrated album.
I love Back to the Game.
I'm not surprised his voice is gone.
Yeah, that's probably why. I just thought because he was screaming like that and using it that way.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a point about The Happening.
Yeah.
Did you know The Happening was written by the same guy who wrote the theme song to My Three Sons?
No, really? I didn't know that. I love this song, The Happening, even though it sounds like a commercial or some kind of.
It sounds like a sitcom theme song because it was written by a
Well, wasn't it in a movie? Wasn't that a movie soundtrack? The Happening?
Yes, it was. But the theme song for The Happening was written by the guy who wrote, and I think Family Affair too.
Oh, really?
Frank
Duvall?
I think that was who it was.
You're talking about the TV show, Family Affair TV show.
Remember Frank Duvall was on Fernwood Tonight? You remember that stuff with Martin Mull, Fernwood Tonight? And Fred
I remember the show, but I mean, I was in bed.
Well, it was a spoof on the Carson show, and it was done on the cheap deliberately. It was a funny show. Anyway, Frank Duvall played the band leader.
Okay.
In that series, it ran, and then they changed the name after the first year to America Tonight. And Martin Mull was the host, and he was kind of a spoof on the whole Carson thing, right, on the Tonight Show. Funny stuff. Really funny stuff.
Why isn't it out on DVD?
Well, it probably is. It probably is.
Here's for Mary Hartman to come up.
Gosh, it was around, when was it? It would have been in the late 70s, I think, when that show was out. Garth Gimble was the character. That's who Martin Milner played. And then Jerry Hubbard was the Fred Willard character. Funny stuff. Like Fred Willard kind of played the Ed McMahon role, where he was a bit of a dolt. He was always saying stupid things, It was really funny. Funny stuff. Anyway.
Fred Willard was made to be the stupid second banana.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for the Beverly Hillbillies season 5.
What do you mean? You ordered it?
Well,
it's not available.
Actually, it is available.
Yeah,
it costs too much right now.
Oh.
You have Hulu, Doc?
It'll come down.
I'm sorry, Richard?
You have Hulu?
Oh, no, I don't have Hulu, no.
Because the whole Beverly Hillbillies series is on Hulu.
Okay. I don't subscribe to any of them.
I'm a physical media guy.
Yeah, I have television. I watch you people.
So do I, but my cable package sucks. We had to go down to a really basic cable, so.
You know what? Something I was thinking of. Well, anyway, I watched an episode of The Waltons the other day. I can't remember. When I was a kid, it was on, but I didn't watch it all the time. But anyway, compared to the crap of television now, my girlfriend and I watched this episode the other day for an hour. The acting was great. The story was great. The emotions were great. You felt like it had something to say. I mean, I missed it, so I said, no, maybe I'll start watching these. I'll start like getting the series. So I ordered season 1, but my point is, they had the whole thing, like the complete series, all available, 9 seasons in a box. Plus, they had whatever
Yeah, the
reunion
Crystal,
movies they did.
Yeah.
And And then I looked in the comments and a lot of bad reviews because apparently sometimes when you order these big sets, for whatever reason, some of them freeze, some of them don't work. The discs, they're faulty. You ever have that issue? Not so much if you buy always individual seasons, but when they put them together in a set, sometimes you have troublesome discs. I don't know why that is, what they do to some of them or how they compact them.
I think Rachel's leaving us.
Oh,
Oh, Rachel.
Bye, Rachel.
bye.
Happy
Adios.
Easter.
Happy Easter to the island.
Yeah.
I think Rachel's on Vancouver Island.
She's like a neighbor to you, Paul.
Happy Easter to be.
No
Have you ever
chocolate
noticed-
this year.
Have you ever noticed on the Waltons that Richard Thomas's mole moves from one side of his face to the other?
No. No. I'll tell you one thing. I just watched because whenever I get into something, then I start watching like interviews on YouTube and stuff. And that guy looks great now. He doesn't look too much older than he did then. He's one of those guys that aged well.
Maybe you're watching a Star Trek episode there, Doc, when one side was black and the other side was white.
Oh yeah, that's the Frank Gordon episode.
Yeah.
No, I only have like about six or eight Star Trek original episodes because I never got into Star Trek much.
I got the whole series on
I
VHS.
never had it.
Or that Columbia House thing that I got into. And every month I got a new Star Trek video or something. Anyway.
I always got a kick out of like a lot of times, because I'm into movies, so when I'd go on movie forums, and people would be like, oh, just for an example, oh, Star Trek or something is coming out. Oh, they want $60, $70, $5 a season. Oh, that's for each season. Oh, that's crazy. But in the old days, you bought the VHS tapes, and they had like one episode on them, or maybe two, and they were like $25, $20 per episode.
That's right.
People, the same thing happens with records or anything. A lot of people they don't think of it like that. You think I'm buying one season and it's costing me $75. If you bought each one individually, these used to be $20 an episode.
Yeah. The thing
So
with
do you
Star
think
Trek,
that
any time of the day you turn the TV on and you'll find it.
This is true.
So
I've never been a Star Trek guy, although again late. I got into it a little bit late, the original series, and every time I don't think I've seen every one, but every one that I see is pretty good. It's good. It's seldom disappointing.
the hell is that noise out there?
I have 4 of the original releases. Remember when they wouldn't put them in
Oh,
boxes?
I remember that when DVDs first came out.
Exactly.
oh wow.
It's just like Joe has the Lost Place. I Love Lucy behind him. When they first started put them out, they would put them out in like sections from season 1.
Right.
It was awful. I don't know what they're thinking, but yeah, I've got. Oh, the one with Carmel.
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never into any of that. I was never into any of that science fiction stuff like Battlestar.
Oh, Richard. Ooh.
Richard, if you were into sci-fi,
$20 a piece at the time.
Richard, if you were into sci-fi, you'd probably like A Day in the Life more.
How about Spock's brain? That's supposed to be the worst episode.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Well, one of
So,
the.
so Day in Life is it's the Spock's brain of the Beatles.
No, I've got the one with the Gorn in it. Yeah.
I would be quick and merciful.
My favorite episode The one with William Wyndham.
Oh yeah, the big carrot.
I call it the big cigar.
It's more like a bugle. It's like one of those bugles.
Oh, this was, well, I called it the big cigar. It's like,
I think that's where they got the concept for Jaws from.
Oh, I don't know. There's a movie from 1957 called The Vampire, a 50s vampire movie, and the theme song sounds like Jaws.
Oh, does it?
So,
yeah, I got the Tribbles episode too. You got to have the Tribbles.
Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah, you got to have that one. But that one with the big cigar, I thought that one was the most hilarious episode I'd ever seen of Star Trek. I got to have that one.
Well, I think I prefer Lost in Space the same way that I prefer the Monsters to the Addams Family. I guess it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, me too. I prefer
Well,
Monsters.
here's the thing: like Lost in Space and Star Trek were contemporary, right? I mean, they were on at the same time, but they were so different. Lost in Space was so cheap and hokey. Like those costumes were terrible.
Well, some of them, they're pretty bad.
They didn't, chintz out on that.
You're using costumes from all his different shows,
Oh yeah.
But actually, if I could say, the Lost in Space, like the first season or the first pilot, first episode, was really expensive at the time, right? The first one, pilot.
It was really movie length.
Well, apparently, Irwin was a real skinflint. He didn't like spending money on anything. So,
well, we can thank Jonathan Harris for changing the whole show.
Yeah, well,
the best part of the show.
I think for the better, but that's just me.
No, he did make it for the better.
I know that wasn't the intent, but originally.
No, he didn't even want to do it. Like he just thought it was beneath him, which it probably was. But he was the best part of the show. And they should have just done him and the robot, and that would have been it.
Well, he rewrote all his lines. It featured him more than anything. And Guy Williams was going like, "Do I have anything to do this week?"
Yeah. He took it took the show from Guy Williams. Not in a malicious way or anything, but Guy Williams was the star. Was supposed to be the star originally.
Well, those guys were pretty vanilla, right? I mean, they weren't. They were so blah that they weren't even real. Like, Jonathan Harris at least had some personality. Dr. Smith he was a scream because there was always going to be something. That he was getting into. You see,
I think deep down,
he was like the Frank Burns of Lost in Space.
From MASH.
When you watch MASH, those Frank Burns episodes are just hilarious. That guy was brilliant. Yeah, Larry Lynn.
I do like the early episodes. The early episodes of MASH were funny.
Oh, and if you watch those episodes, it's because of Frank Burns. Like the guy was just
Frank Burns was the best part.
And I was never a MASH guy. I was one of those guys just never got into that. But I do know I've seen Frank Burns though. I know they're always teasing Frank Burns and he's with Hot Lips and all this.
But he was a funny.
The early seasons are hilarious, but after you get to after Frank Burns left, and after
it started getting serious. It got really serious at the end there. And it's sort of like it wasn't really a comedy anymore. It was more of
no, it wasn't.
It was political commentary.
Yeah.
I would be satisfied if I never saw another episode of MASH until the day I die.
Me too.
There's never been a day where it's not been on television.
Even if I
over and over
TV, if I see MASH,
William Shatner is going to be 90.
Is he coming up to 90?
I can't believe it.
90?
Now you want to talk about a guy that looks good. William Shatner looks.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't. He looks good for 90, but other than that, he doesn't look good. I thought, wow, how is he doing it, man? He's like, you would think like I'm glad he's alive. Let's put it that way. I just thought he looked like maybe, I don't know, that he was drinking a lot. I don't know if he's a drinker, but he looks like he was.
Well, how many of those? 3 of those guys are gone now, right? from the original series. So
We got James Doohan and
James Doohan and DeForest Kelly
and the Leonard Nimoy. Yeah.
Yeah. So Shatner could be the last man standing.
Yeah.
And he's a legend. Captain Kirk. I can't do that thing.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Ah, Paul can do it.
I can do it. Both hands too.
Whoa.
I can't do it. Let's see. I can never do it.
No, I could never do
I
it.
think I can do it because of my guitar playing. I can, I can work independently, but
You have to have subtle fingers or flipper. Oh,
God, it hurts to do it.
yeah, I can do it. Move my fingers together. Yeah.
there's other gestures I can make, but I won't.
Mm.
Yeah.
He gets pissed when people ask him to say that because he said he never said that in the series.
What's that? He never said what?
Beam me up, Scotty.
No, he never said that. And then
Well, it's like so many things never were said,
always asked me
and
to
of
say
course,
that.
Kelly
He said, I never
said that. Dr. McCoy never said he's dead, Jim. He never said that either.
That I'm not a something, but not a doctor or whatever.
I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
Something like that. Yeah.
He
I
said
don't know. I
that.
was watching Lost in Space. I didn't really watch Star Trek in its original run. So it's only in reruns that I.
We didn't have cable TV back then. Like we had basically a black and white TV with rabbit ears, right? So unless you could pick it up,
Yeah.
and it was on like in Canada, you could get the Canadian networks really easy, but anything coming out of the U.S., we it depended on where the clouds were, whether we got it or not. So it was a really hit and miss for us.
Oh yeah, we had
Unless the Canadian network picked it up, we never saw it. It just didn't happen.
We had all the ABC, CBS, NBC. We had no trouble at all. And CBC.
Well, you'd be right on Detroit, right?
Well, yeah, so like the only time you turn on CBC was because the Friendly Giant was on.
Well, exactly. It's the best show on TV.
Yeah, so that was it.
See, these guys, they won't know about the Friendly Giant.
No.
Friendly Giant.
No, that's a Canadian kids television.
It was a 15-minute show that CBC showed. 15 minutes. It was probably the best kids show for its time. It ran into the 80s, didn't it, Doc?
Did it make it into the 80s?
I think it did. It was around forever. It was a really good show for kids. Thoroughly enjoyable.
I don't know. We all watched it religiously.
Jerome the Giraffe was the coolest character ever to be on.
Hey, what's going on, Friendly Giant?
I don't know what they're talking about. Do you, Joe?
You guys don't.
The USA is where it's at. What do you think?
It was a CBC. It ran 15-minute episodes, and he would always. It had the same format every week.
It's probably divided by
tell a story. They do a musical bit, and that'd be it. And then 15 minutes, and you were in and out. And
it was so
great programming.
It's interesting. James Byers says, Laurel and Hardy. He never said that's another fine mess you've gotten me into, but he says nice mess, right? Oliver Hardy says, well, here's another nice mess you've gotten me into. He says nice mess, but not fine mess.
Did you see this one, Paul?
The Beachcombers. I never watched it. I remember it.
But he's with the guy who played the cop.
Hey, Mike, have you been to Dorothy's Reach?
I don't know. That guy who played the cop must be like 80 years old now, though himself.
Yeah.
That show was on.
I've been to Dorothy's Reach and even had a meal there.
Yeah.
We used to make fun of the Beachcombers. Hey, you gonna watch the Beachcombers?
Oh, it was so hokey. It was so hokey. Yeah, no, it was the Friendly Giant. Yeah, 85. See, there you go.
58 to 85?
Yep.
The Friendly Giant is to us
what on YouTube.
Kangaroo would be to you.
It'll make you feel like a kid again. It's great.
Well, what is to me?
Well, I was going to say Captain Kangaroo, but that's still a
I've
Before-
never watched Captain Kangaroo.
Well, basically, the Friendly Giant was a little bit like Captain Kangaroo, actually.
But it's in the same vein, though.
Yeah, yeah. A little different, but
We had Mr. Dress Up, which is kind of Captain Kangaroo-ish himself. So.
yeah, I never watched that.
Oh, you missed Casey and Finnegan and all of that.
Oh, I used to hate those things. Even as a kid, I hated those guys.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't even know if it's still around anymore.
Oh, Ernie Coombs is dead.
Huh?
Ernie Coombs is dead.
Oh, Bernie. Oh, yeah. No, he died a few years ago. Yeah. Yeah, I think Bob.
Jenny Wren,
did as well.
Oh.
But see,
like so many girls.
Yeah.
Jenny
we
Wren.
even had our own Bozo show.
What?
You know, when I first heard
Bozo.
Jenny Wren,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go for a drive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go there and back again.
Come on, I can write those lyrics.
when I first heard Jenny Wren, I didn't like the song. I don't know why. It just didn't hit me right.
No,
But,
it's
I like it.
Jenny Wren.
Okay.
Oh, it's brutal.
It's a favorite of Richard's.
Oh,
Is that
Yeah.
right?
No.
yeah, I
Oh,
just
yeah.
I love that song. Yeah. I love that song like I love Pet Sound. Yeah.
So, what is your favorite Beatles song, Richard?
Oh, God, I can't pick that's impossible.
No.
You know what it isn't?
That is really like, I really don't think I could pick one. I really don't think I can pick one. I love pretty much.
Well,
every-
yeah, it's hard to do that. I certainly can't. I keep threatening to make my top 30 or 50 Beatles songs
Oh,
one
that's
day.
impossible.
You know, and I do
There's
have
certain ones that I like better.
one I pick as number one, you know, but for different reasons. But I'm not gonna. I'll reveal it one day. I've revealed it already, but to the
Mine,
past.
I'll tell you, mine has always been "You've Got to Hide Your Love Away." I
Oh,
love
that's
that.
a great,
Oh, that's a
Great.
great one. Yeah, that is a great.
Yeah.
one.
great pick.
Classic Lennon.
And Joe,
Dylan
yeah,
influence.
Joe doesn't think I like John, so
Oh, you keep saying that over and over again. I don't know. You've convinced me that you like them.
We're gonna have
Yes.
to get between these guys, Doc. Yeah, no, I love "You Got to Hide Your Love Away." I think
yeah, that's a
Oh,
great
it's
one.
it's
wonderful.
perfect John Lennon
Yeah.
song again.
I don't know. I got last week for me saying I like Sexy Sadie.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
great.
Oh, I love Sexy Sadie.
Like Sexy Sadie. What?
Let's find some other classic Beatles songs Rich is not fond of, but we can't name them all. Otherwise, we can't name every song till we find one. But
There's
Yeah.
Yeah, they get over.
ones that I'm not really, that I don't really like. But I mean,
what's some of the like the biggies, Richard, that you're not as keen at? Like say, people who tend to love them go overboard. You're not really that thrilled with them.
Yes.
Tomorrow Never Knows. I don't like Tomorrow Never Knows.
Oh,
really?
Lord, never knows. But I could see that. That one I could
I
almost
can see
understand.
that, but man, that's an incredible song. That to me is probably their second best song.
right after.
And I don't like what are the ones that like George is like more Indian themed.
Oh yeah.
I don't like those.
You don't like the Inner Light?
No.
Well, those are understandable in a way. Even though I like them, but I could see that. But A Day in the Life, no. Sorry, Richard, I don't see that. I got my
Within
exact
You
on ice.
Without You is Indian influence. That's a beautiful song. Within You Without You, I think they did a phenomenal job.
Oh,
of
but
that.
Yeah,
Without You, that's the one I don't like. I don't like Without You.
Yeah.
Taxman, says Lingo. Yeah.
Oh, Taxman. Well, I love Taxman.
I can't get over long, long, long.
I really liked that for a long, long, long time, and a lot of people never did. But I
I think
like
that's the
that.
most. If you talk about a boring song, that one just bores me to death.
Yeah. Even on the new
I
mix.
never
They
I never really actually paid that much attention to it.
One at a time.
Because I never really listened to the second half of the White Album until just like the 50th anniversary came out. Because it was just too wacky for me to get into.
Yeah, I think side 3 of the White Album is the best side on the album. Side 3. I love that side.
Yeah, between 1 and 3 for me. Probably
Yeah.
3.
Well, I'm talking about the side with like Birthday and Revolution 9 and
Well, they're not on the same side, but that's
I'm
the
talking
second one.
about when the 50 that you got two discs.
CD type.
Yeah.
Richard, is there a Paul McCartney song? It could be Beatles or solo that generally gets a lot of acclaim that you don't think is really so hot.
Overrated.
Yeah.
I don't like Silly Love Song. I think it's
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that song.
It's silliest thing ever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be silly. I'm telling everybody that. So
It was an attempt at a top 40 hit, and I'll give him credit.
attempt. I was 14 when it came out. It was a big hit.
Yeah, it was
And I'll give him credit. It worked, but he's so much better than that. He's so much.
Very seldom on bass, though.
well,
That was
again,
really
that's McCartney being commercial, right? That's
Yeah.
them making money. I'm not a big fan of that song either. In fact,
Yeah,
I don't
especially
really
the
like
part,
that.
I love you. Come on, I love you. I love you.
I've tried to explain the point of the way what reason it's so plain. That's the whole point of it. It's like, you don't like me making love songs. Here's one for you. I love you. I love you. How do you like that? Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah,
You know, but it doesn't work for everybody. But
What's the point of Let 'Em In?
great melody and sing along. That's about it.
That's
Those were
another
huge
one.
hits.
Auntie Jen, open the door.
That's another one I'll give you that. That's another one that's cheesy and not. But I mean, for some reason, I like that one. No, I can't.
Yeah, I love it.
No, I can't
Well, a lot
let
of
you do it a bunch of
like,
times.
like Admiral Halsey for the same reason, right? A lot of people don't like that.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, I love Uncle Albert.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm so sorry.
that's almost like a little Beatles medley right there.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is.
In fact, I'm one of the few people who like the medley out on Red Rose Speedway.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love them. Man.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I think a lot of people, when they criticize McCartney, they're not seeing him just as Paul McCartney. They're always comparing him what he did with the Beatles, right? And I think they all fell under this. And so people criticize him for doing certain kinds of music as a solo artist. Yet if he did that stuff with the Beatles, they thought it was great. You know.
Oh, you know it.
It's just it's all context.
Well, you can't do that. Even though I'm a Paul McCartney fan first, and I prefer a solo career. If you compare everything to what he did with the Beatles, you're not going to like it as much, and you're not going to.
Well, I try not to, but a lot of people do that, right? They say, well, this guy wrote "Hey Jude." How can he write something like "Let Him In"? Like it's sort of like, well, it's again apples and oranges, and you kind of have to. I've tried to separate solo from the group, right? Because to me, it's a different artist, right? Paul McCartney is not the Beatles, and vice versa. So I try not to. Like, I don't see their solo career as an extension of the Beatles. I don't see that. A lot of people do.
I don't either. I think of Paul McCartney, and Paul McCartney and the Beatles is too well. I think pretty much all of them is that way. I think it's them all separate artists from the Beatles. I don't compare Paul's solo career to Paul McCartney in the Beatles or John Lennon's solo career to John Lennon.
Totally different thing. To me, but a lot of people do kind of blur those lines, right? A lot of them sort of, they see that as a continuation of what the Beatles were doing in the '60s, and it's sort of like, well, it's not the same, It's like you got the Beatles, and then you can talk about Elton John, the totally different, totally unrelated thing, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I try to see it as well. And it's hard, but you have to. I think you have to look at it that way.
Yeah.
Well, there's always some sort of musical progression anyway. Like it's always gonna be changed no matter what.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
So Paul McCartney on his own isn't gonna sound like what he did for the Beatles. And he's
I-
always, you know,
But some of it can. I mean, what I mean by that is, if we're on the same page, I don't know. I always use a song like "Some Days." Do you know the song "Some Days" or "Flaming Pie"?
Yeah.
That could be like "For No One" on Revolver or something like that. Just
Yeah, they did kind of, yeah.
But I know what Paul's saying also here. I don't think of it as the Beatles.
Oh, well, there's definitely songs he did in his solo career that are like Beatlesque or sound like songs.
Well, there's a lot
they
of
would
people
do,
that have done songs that are Beatlesque, though. Like they weren't even necessarily in the Beatles that did songs that where you could say, "Hey, I could hear the Beatles doing that." Like there's a lot of artists that do that. Because obviously because McCartney was in the Beatles, we make that association a little bit quicker. But there's all sorts of stuff I hear that I think, yeah, that sounds like a Beatles tune, and it's not. It's got nothing to do with them, But that's just because of their influence.
or he can't help it. He was a Beatle to begin with.
Well, it's the same guy, right? You can't expect anything too different.
Well, that's 1/4 of the similarity of the Beatles. That when you're listening to a solo song, it's one of the four Beatles.
You see, and this is where I say you can't really take McCartney out of the Beatles and say it's the same guy, because you don't have John Lennon there. And even though Lennon didn't necessarily have any sort of songwriting credit or did anything with McCartney in terms of creating the song, he was part of the process in the studio.
Yeah,
as a band, it's not just what's in the composer's head; it's what's in the band's head, right? So that influence is no longer there.
Leave that. The movement you need is on your shoulder. Leave that in. I like that.
Exactly.
Yes, good point. And I said this before. I've always liked that line in there myself. Paul always said, "Well, it doesn't." When he wrote the song, it didn't mean anything. He said, or whatever. What does that mean?
A brilliant line.
And then in later years, when he told I don't know how long he was telling the story, but when I first heard him tell the story, John said, "Oh, you'll be leaving that in there. That's the best line in it." I thought I was the only one. John liked that line too. I didn't know that, because to me it means something, and I can't even describe it. But it's kind of like
that is a Lennon-esque line. That's the sort of line you would expect to hear in a John Lennon song that you normally wouldn't hear in a Paul McCartney song. And because they were working so closely together, I'm not surprised that McCartney came up with that, even subconsciously, right?
Handled John.
Right. It was, that was John's influence coming out subconsciously, because that's a classic Lennon line. Even though
I like the way it's sung too. Again, I'm not going to sing it here, but it's almost like you're singing the word shoulder a certain way at that time.
Yeah,
as if you're going back to the first time. Was you reflecting on it? I don't know if that's what he's doing, because he mentioned shoulder once before. Don't carry the world upon your shoulder.
Yeah.
Then later on he says, "Is on your shoulder."
Well, John's mantra was always, it's up to you to make change. That was always like through the 60s and 70s. And so that's what that line is. The movement you need is on your shoulder.
You have the wherewithal to make your decisions.
Change is up to you, not somebody else. And
it's a fantastic line. People think it doesn't mean it.
Well, and that's always been.
Well, Paul didn't think of anything. Paul hated the line. He said he just put it there because he couldn't think of anything to put.
And I remember one, because I was so many interviews with Paul over the decades. I remember one time he said, when he was describing this situation, he said, "I mean, the movement you need is on your shoulder. It's like a parrot." He says, "What is that?" Because he's thinking of it like literally like that, physically. No, it means like spiritually or mentally, or like to affect change, like the way Paul described it here. I like that. It always meant something to me, that part. I didn't know for years that John said, "Yeah, leave that in." That's good.
I think it was in the anthology when I first heard that. When you said it in the anthology series, that's when I first heard it.
Yeah, I think I heard it maybe '89ish or something like that.
Yeah.
With Flowers in the Dirt tour, like interviews around there. But I just remember thinking, wow, I like that bit of trivia. See, one thing sort of we're talking about who influenced who or whatnot. There's a line that I really like. The song "Girl," which I'm not really that crazy about, ironically. I'm not really that crazy about it. But I love the line, "A man must break his back during his day of leisure." I love that line.
That's a great line.
And then I heard that Paul said, did he say he wrote that line? You know, I thought that would have been a John line, but apparently I think it's a Paul line.
Oh, is it really? Interesting.
If I'm not mistaken, maybe somebody could find out.
I don't care. I still like that song.
Girl.
Oh, I don't hate it or anything. No, I don't hate it or anything at all. But
I think it's a beautiful song.
It's not the strongest track on the album, but
and even the song "In My Life," I love where it starts. I like all the stuff at the beginning where it's starting, all the reminiscing and remember all that. Then when it starts getting into just kind of a love song, like, oh, but of all these friends and lovers, no one compares to you, and then it starts getting into that kind of thing. But I like where it was going at the beginning, you know.
Yeah. That's the sort of song, like, you know, again, growing up in the 60s, I had heard all the time, but it didn't mean anything to me until I got older and I understood what he was talking about, you know. And you look at it now and you think, God, what a brilliant lyric. Like that whole song is just so brilliant. And you see, that's why Rubber Soul was such a departure from what they had done before. It's more about what they're singing, not the music. It's more about the lyrical content. And that's why it's such a departure from, say, Help, even, which was, you know, earlier that year. Incredible.
They were outgrowing She Loves You.
Sorry?
They were outgrowing She Loves You.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, you know, Beatles for Sale, even, I mean, you know, even I'm a Loser. You know, it's introspective lyric and stuff.
That was very, first time, yeah. I'll let you know a secret. I can't stand I Want to Hold Your Hand. I do not like that song.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I
don't know why. I just sort of like, yeah. It just seems so trite to me. I don't know.
The thing about that song is it's never been how do I say it? I enjoy, of course, I like the song, but it's never been a favorite of mine. Like, it wouldn't be in my top 50, probably, for example.
No, it wouldn't be.
She Loves You would, though. I think She Loves You blows that out of the water.
It's a far better song, yeah. But I Want to Hold Your Hand, to me, is just like, oh, really, guys?
Or I Saw Her Standing There.
Yeah.
No.
I saw her standing there. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was
not a good rock here. I love the way Paul sings that. Like, to me, that's. But I don't know. I Want to Hold Your Hand just sort of seems like they did it because they had to. You know, I don't know. It just doesn't grab me in any way.
I might say maybe musically it's more interesting than the sentiment. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even like the music to it.
We learned something new here today, I think. I don't know if you missed it on the video.
Sorry if I saw her standing there too.
You do like it or don't like it?
I like it, but I'm just tired of it.
Oh, well, that's in my top 5, 3 maybe. I don't know. It's tough.
Just whenever I perform or do a show, I always have to play it. I always have to play it. And I'm just kidding.
Thanks to John for that line too. You know what I mean?
Like, Joe, you're talking about doing your top 50 favorites, and I think the problem with that, for me, it might not be for you, but for me, is that I'm over familiar with their material.
Oh yeah, that's tough. That's
for me. It's sort of like I've heard maybe too much of it to make that kind of list. You know?
No, I have that problem too, 100%, and I have to try to remind myself sometimes, like, do I really not like Yesterday? Do I really not like that song?
Yeah,
maybe I heard it too much. And same thing with Hey Jude, you know.
Yep.
And so many others, and Let It Be, and
basically the Blue album.
But when I do this one day, which I'm gonna try to put that aside. Well, what happened?
Oh, Joe, you.
Oh, he fought down.
Maybe they had an earthquake.
Wow, that's interesting.
Did
Huh.
I get the Beatles movie? Which Beatles movie? On Blu-ray. Oh, Hard Day's Night. Oh, all the movies.
All of them.
Did we lose Joe?
I think he fought down.
See, here's the thing with the Blu-ray, right? It's only as good as the original. And so I don't know that you're getting your money's worth when you purchase a movie on Blu-ray, but it was originally, filmed back in the dark ages, and it's only going to be as good as its source.
Oh, his battery died.
Oh, his battery died. Yeah.
Well, I
guess
could go for 3 hours myself. So,
Well, I'm good as long as BC Hydro keeps pumping the juice through.
well, that's okay because we're getting a cut rate on our energy bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I should sign off anyway. I got some work to do here. It's almost 11:30, so
11:30. Oh, it's almost 2:30 here.
yeah. So I kind of shot today. But I'm gonna check out.
This is a good way to cut it off because
Yeah.
3
Good
hours,
talking to you guys.
not bad. So
Richard, I hope your taste in Beatle music improves.
Okay.
someday he'll see the genius of a day in the life. Yes.
I'll never like a day. No.
Yeah, we'll get you converted. Yeah, we will.
See,
Yeah.
that's
No, you're not gonna get me converted. I'll never like that song.
See, what he's saying right now is just a challenge for me. That's all that is.
It is. But the rest of us know better.
Anyway, you guys take care. Happy Easter.
All right.
Thank you for for joining in.
Hey, Doc,
Thanks for all the people. There.
Hey, Doc, do you have a Skype account?
Who, me?
Who?
Doc,
Doc.
I do, yes.
can I? What is your Skype? Can I?
Don't say it over here. People are listening.
Yeah, I know that's the trouble. That's the trouble.
Have you guys got a Facebook page? You can communicate by
I don't have
Facebook.
Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. No.
Uh,
To say it out in the open, it would
Well,
be.
private message me it.
What's that?
Private message me it.
Oh, you're asking me to do something I don't know how to do.
You don't know how to private message?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay.
On this thing?
Yeah. There's this thing where you go into the chat and then you're.
There's a private chat thing there.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Okay, wait a minute. I don't know if that worked or not.
Yeah, I saw it. That's a test. I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
I can see it, but I won't say anything.
Okay.
Anyway, you guys take care. We'll see you again.
Okay.
Bye.
Chowder.
Oh. Okay. Okay. It's under my email address. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that. Here, let me write that down.
Yeah. You do that. I think that's the way it works anyway.
Okay.
Okay. So did you want to do that right now or later or whatever?
Yeah, I'll have to write that down.
Because otherwise my Skype right now is turned off.
Okay.
All good?
Well,
Oh, I think you got it. Okay. So hello out there. If anybody's still out there, thanks for watching. Have a happy Easter. Take care. Catch you another time. Bye.